Justin. I forgot to clean that. Okay, let me share my screen. Start. Hi, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Okay. Okay, I have a surprise. Boop, 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 boop. We have the fic over here. I'm just gonna bring it to the Hey, let's go. Okay. Okay, let me do this. I'm gonna do a little bit of. Is that legible? I'm hoping it is. Upgrades, people, upgrades. Slowly but surely. It's been like more than a year since I started these streams. We need some upgrades. We're getting fancy in here. We're getting fancy, and it's literally just me sharing my screen. Literally just me sharing my screen. Okay. So it's so funny because I texted Rose being like, "Hey, are you available this weekend for the streams?" Like I think this was going to be the NSFW chapter. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm available." And then I scanned the chapter last night, and it's not gonna be an NSFW chapter. So I'm just going to be over here. I'm just to be on TikTok and on YouTube. Very chill. Oh, okay. So this chapter is called Filet Mignon, topped with Cheeto dust. And as the food recipes get more and more expensive, I'm not going to make these, guys. I am not going to be making these. So, like, so sorry to disappoint Jaime, I guess. No. Awesome. Okay, so summary: 8 ounces of filet mignon, 1 small bag of Cheetos crushed up by hand. These rich bitches, I hate you. 1 high genuinely giant first class sweet. Thank you, Zoe. 67 paintings. Wow, that's a lot of highbrow paintings. What is going on? I'm guessing they are going to Korea, right? Okay. If you're reading this the day this chapter came out, I'll be on vacation with my girlfriend in 2 days. Yay, woo, yay. Hashtag GTC research trip. Hashtag exciting. Hashtag gay sex accuracy. I texted Rose being like, I guess we are gonna get the next chapter after the research. Research trip. In case the translation coding crashed on you, here's this chapter's translations. Oh. I think it did crash. I mean, it's over here. It's just like instead of being here. Yeah, it is over here. Gurum Hankuk Oromare Boka. And should I speak? Let me like check the. Oh, I accidentally went back. Oh, here. Okay, I just had to refresh. I'm gonna go check the coding. Okay, it's over here. It's over here. It should be fine. I don't want to like spoil myself too much. Okay. So I'm gonna just skip that. Special mention. Okay. I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip that. Fun fact: the songs that Rumi sings in this chapter are songs that EJ actually wrote. Hell yeah! I'm guessing like there's gonna be a Psycho. There's gonna be some Espa maybe. We'll see. We'll see. And I will be coughing a lot. That's also a reason why I'm splitting this into 2 streams because I'm still coughing. I was sick for like a week. All the research, very, very important research. Okay. I love this. There's no way, bro. Daddy's got you. 02. Dog gotta. Cactus juice. Yeah, cactus juice crew. No, the baby. Jakui? Jakui lol? Zoe Keg, Panky Pancake, Zoe Keg, Zoe Keg, Zoe Keg. Aveana. Zoe, we warned you. Lettering is my music. 3 hours and 20 minutes of streaming undone to one woman's hubris, etc., etc. Playing confusion. Zoe Pepe hands, Zoe Pepe hands, Zoe Pepe hands. Blue Sabreeze. Somebody clip. I'm crying. Thim Singh. Deserve for calling all of us Omegas. Veil 2110. Zoe Keck, Zoe Keck. Oh, we're back to beautiful streaming. Zoe blinks away her grin and drags her hands down her face one last time. A small groan escapes from her lips, picked up by the mic 2 inches from her mouth, naturally. I'm going to quit streaming, Zoe says flatly. I'm going to retire from streaming. This is the end of Zoeasy on me and the 500 something hours of stream time. Maybe more, I don't know. But point is, no more. She sits up in her chair and tucks it back into her desk, eyes flicking back and forth on the tiny death notification still shown in harrowing red on her main monitor. Her small chat monitor in her peripheral vision is still going crazy with all the laughing and grave emojis, but she can't blame them. This is the downfall of her career. This is the most tragic thing that's ever happened to her. And she means it. She means it with her goddamn chest. Like, yes, goddammit, it's worse than waking up from a 2-month coma. She'd rather be thrown out of a car again than lose her cute pet wolf dog in a hardcore Minecraft world. I had so many pork chops in my hotbar to give him, she whines, cycling through all of her tools. She crouches down and looks at the edge of the cliff where Juju, her pet wolf, annoying man, had seemingly sacrificed himself to protect her from a single skeleton. What the fuck? I didn't even know they could take fall damage like that. Or was that just the ocelots? Wait, can you even keep ocelots as pets anymore? Zoe juts her chin over to the chat monitor. She squints hard and leans in closer to read. Ugh, maybe she does need to go to an optometrist and get some reading glasses, though she doubts she can pull them off as well as other people can. Or maybe she's just been looking at a certain model and her dozens of pairs of Gentle Monster glasses for too long. Chat, you know what? Never mind. Freak out. Over, she declares, pulling back the lever on her chair to sit up straighter. She rubs her hands together to make them warm again. We can't end on a loss. You know what we're going to do for the rest of the stream? We're going to make an army of Jujus, wolf dogs and ocelots and kitties and parrots and whatever the fuck else you can tame in Minecraft. And we're going to go on a revenge quest. Oh yeah. Her chat ramps up again, either to hype her up or to lovingly roll their eyes at her for her misguided adventures. Hey, behave! You guys can't tell me what to do after I trusted all of you when you said to hit Control X at lava. She chides the chat, bunny hopping back to her makeshift square dirt house on the other side of the cliff. Man, she should really upgrade that sooner or later. She can't be living like a poor person. Manifestation and all of that. Zoe closes the door behind her and rummages through her disorganized chests. Wistfully, she thinks back to her main Minecraft world, the one with the nice mansion and defense walls and a really neatly organized storage room with its own sorting system. She cracks a smile to herself when she thinks about Rumi shamefully admitting that she spent an entire night looking up redstone tutorials to make the sorting system. Sometimes the student can surpass the master. God, she can't wait to get back on that Minecraft world after the stream. Or at least some point after the stream. They haven't played in a while. Would it be weird if she played it by herself? It's not like they'll know. Okay, how about this, chat? She asks excitedly, scooting her butt around on the chair as her mind floods with all sorts of crazy ideas. What if, hear me out, what if, instead of ending the stream in half an hour like I said I would, I'll just do an impromptu all-nighter stream? It's not like I have any homework or work to worry about, she almost says. But her mind thinks about the consequences of admitting that to a live audience of a few thousand and reroutes it in time. Like, not like I'm not an adult. Does that make sense? Meh. There's a wave of support in the chat for that decision. just as much as there are people who tell her to lay down, rest, mourn Juju, and all that. Unfortunately for them, they're not her mother. Zoe! That came out crazy. Zoe! Her dad bellows from the other side of the wall. Zoe's shoulders tense up all the way to her ears, and she knocks her headphones down and twists at the hip. Maybe not her mother. Yeah! She shouts back. She doesn't even bother to cover the mic. They're all used to her dad at this point. Sometimes he even waves to the camera or joins her streams for things like Happy Wheels featuring my Korean dad. There is no response on the other side of the wall, so Zoe rolls her eyes and scoots her chair back to yell even louder. What is it? No response. Zoe turns back to her chat to give them an exasperated look, and they throw back 1,000 more Zoe Keck costume laughing emojis at her. Appa! She hollers as loud as she can. That finally gets his attention. She hears him cough, hack up some spit. He's just like me. Hack up some spit, and then yell again. Wash the rice! I'm going to cook steak for lunch! Her eyes go wide. She nervously laughs and faces back towards the camera as she shouts back to her dad. Okay, just give me a minute! Zoe puts her headphones back on, even though she can hear him yelling something back that she's sure she's going to find clipped on the internet as one of her epic fails with her dad. She hunches down until her bangs are the only parts of her seen on camera. Then she brings the mic arm closer to her mouth and whispers, I forgot to take the steak out of the freezer last night, so I gotta do an express defreezing and rice washing in a sec. But another stream next week, question mark? How does that sound? Air 7460. Aw, I just got here. Evil British man. What? Help. Help. I'm just like Zoe's dad. If you know, you know. You should wash the steak with soap. It defrosts faster. Hotel motel holiday inn. Oh my god. The number of inside jokes in this chat. Oh no. When are you streaming STV again? Sidu Alker 40. Oh, good luck, soldier. Minux Molto. Bye, Zoe. Disteroni. Have fun defrosting your biggest beefsteak. Artisanal. Bye, Zozo. I'll send vids from the MCR concert. I'm crying. What? Okay, I guess we're playing MCR at the end of the time. Oh my god. God, Jaime, I love you. The more I laugh, the more I start coughing. Oh my god. My big ass water. Thanks, Jaime. That's very sweet. What the hell? That's very freaking sweet. Oh. Bye, so I'll send vids from the MCR calls. So I guess we are friends in universe. At least we have some sort of communication channel. Oh, I love that. Quaker Buck, Josh. Bye, Zoe. SX41PH, blah, blah, blah. Yay, you stream right as I get off work tomorrow. Soda can, 12, man. See you later, Zoe. That was cute. Zoe pops back into frame to smile at her chat, her face still wrapped around her boom arm to hold it steady. I'll stream a little bit of Slay the Princess next time before we hop into this hardcore world, she promises them. Maybe Monster Prom? Oh, or another speedrun for Hollow Knight. Who knows where the world takes us? She takes some junk out of her inventory and hops over to her bed in the corner of her dirt house to save herself some time for tomorrow's stream. The view count is starting to go down, but her chat is still lively as ever. She uses the corner of her right eye to read them as best as she can while she shuts down the greatest default game of all time. Well, besides Minesweeper and Tetris. She claps her hands together in the same fashion that she's done thousands upon thousands of times. It's practically something she does in her sleep now. Well, that's all for today, she declares happily, leaning back in her chair. Thank you for joining me, awesome gay ants with thumbs trapped in my screen. I'll catch you when I catch you. Ricky's. Her hand hovers over the end stream button on her handy macro pad, but then she catches a glimpse of the travel sized perfume bottle on the corner of her desk. Then she sits up, nearly knocking her chair over, and exclaims, "Oh, fuck! JK about what I said about silk songing this Saturday. Today's the last stream of the week. Not sure when my next stream will be, but I'll update the schedule as soon as I can. I promise. Thankies." She glances back at her chat monitor one more time for one last farewell. She presses her lips to the tips of her fingers and blows a kiss to the screen with a giggle. Lots and lots of heart emojis and custom Zoe stream emojis are thrown her way. As bitter as goodbyes can be, one of her favorite parts is seeing just how crazy and lovely her audience is, even if sometimes they can be a little much. Just sometimes, though. Her smile freezes on her face when she catches two names out of the sea of goodbye spam messages on her monitor. Almost back to back, even. The corner of her mouth twitches when she plays with the idea of them rehearsing when to press send together. Unlikely, but she never knows with them. Thankfully for them, the drama of her sugar mommies and infighting directly on stream has become nothing but a distant memory to people. There's too many regulars on her streams for people to take notice of them, and if they do, people take each other's identities on the internet often enough for everyone to shrug. And she supposes there's the thrill factor too of getting to talk to each other like this with everyone's eyes on them and yet remaining undiscovered. At least there is for her. Okay, freak. Ruminator 2294820135. Hope you have a good lunch, Zoe. Mira1410. Lol, that's what you get for naming him Juju, by the way. But yeah, have a good night, Zoom. Her smile widens. They probably just got up, with it being 5 in the dang morning and all in Seoul. She hasn't needed to check a time converter since she started talking to them what felt like lifetimes ago. And now she finally gets to hit the end button. Zoe slumps in her seat and knocks off her headphones with a big, relieved sigh. Is streaming almost, yeah, can also be a little taxing on her aching. Yeah, that too. She's granted exactly 2 minutes of alone time before the phone she's scrolling on shows a full photo of Jinu's double chin on her screen. She yelps when she sees it. Probably Jinu's revenge on her for scaring him all the time. For a second, Zoe considers just pressing the red button and texting him later to say that she dropped her phone in the toilet. But she's a good friend, and she technically owes him for his modding duties, even though he's a full-time Saja guy on whatevs. Zoe leans all the way back in her chair and balances her phone on the crook of her neck while she fiddles with the Rubik's Cube she snatched from beside her keyboard. Before Jinu can greet her, she wonders out loud, "You know, I have no idea how you can mod for me, dance for your boy group, and still have time to call me every other day to whine about your mystery boyfriend." "He's not my," Jinu snaps. Then he pauses, probably to think about what she said, and he sighs. Zoe giggles under her breath while he shuffles around on the other end. As per usual, there's manly shouts and muffled commotion somewhere on Jinu's end. Zoe should have tacked on "and being in a frat house" to the end of her list. "I just want to check up on you," Jinu says patiently. Zoe exhales through her nose and picks at a sticker on her Rubik's. "I'm going to try and find Juju number 2 before you know it, if that's what you were calling about." She hears Jinu sigh a breath of relief, as distant as it is, and she presses her lips together to keep from laughing. Then Jinu asks, "I wasn't calling for that. I meant you. How's your day been?" "I mean, you saw half my day for modding," she points out. "Then tell me about the other half." She knows exactly what he's doing. He's been calling her more ever since Rumi and Mira flew to Korea a couple weeks ago. Almost a month now that she thinks about it. She purses her lips at her calendar. Not that he has anything to worry about. He's told him that multiple frickin' times, but he's never not been insistent on checking on her. He's probably compensating now that his younger sister is starting high school and spending more time with her friends. Just help my dad fix the TV again, she says, looking up at her ceiling to think. And then I did the dishes, then played with Derpy, who's laying on my toes right now, unless it's just a really big hairball I'm feeling. And then I went out to get some small groceries, and then I reorganized my luggage, and then I streamed. She am down onto his mattress right before he replies. Sounds like a stacked day. She snorts. Not as busy as when I used to worry about all my assignments. She's officially not graduating this spring. Probably next spring instead, they told her. She finally wised, at least for this semester, and maybe even the next. Totally, completely evil college, and they told her that they'll fast track her classes when she's ready to come back. Car crash victim privileges and all that. Oh, that's rough. A part of her is still sad about it. So many weeks of her life had been spent just scrambling on Rubik's Cubes and putting them back together and watching random movies on top 50 films you have to see before you die lists instead of being a productive member of society. She still doesn't feel like she deserves the money she gets from streaming. There's invitations to conventions still waiting for her in her inbox. But as her dad always says, she's got to suck it up and make lemonade. At least she thinks that's what he used to tell her. Maybe it was an edible dream. Not worrying too much about things is a good thing, Ginu says wisely. The same thing he tells her whenever she talks about it. Zoe huffs out a sigh. Your flight hasn't been delayed yet, right? Not that I know of. Right on time in the app. Ginu hums at that. And it's still the flight number that you gave me the other day. Change flight numbers, so and you're 100% sure that your flight is refundable just in case something happens or if you get stranded at an airport. Oh god. I'm not that crazy as to get a non-refundable anything, Zoe cries out, picking up her phone to look at it to make sure she isn't hallucinating the conversation. Well, but I'll take it. Ginu makes another under his breath. Zoe wishes he were in her room so she could throw a pillow at him. And you're sure you're going to get to the time and be there before they close the gates? You're forgetting I'm Korean, Zoe says flatly, examining the fully green side of her Rubik's Cube. My dad's going to be on my ass if I haven't left the house 6 full hours before the flight leaves. I'm just making sure, he argues. You labeled your luggage and everything, right? With a really cute Chikawa tag, she gushes. Airport? What time? Do you remember which gate? Dude, you're starting to sound like a sasang, she says with a laugh. She gives her Rubik's Cube a few twists and checks the pattern on the other side. What's with all the questions? Just making sure you're covered, Ginu says patiently, and Zoe quietly mocks his words under her breath. Mira's starting to rub off on her. Well, rub off and rub on. Zoe clears her throat. Now's not the time. She has to get to bed early, and she can't do that with the impure thoughts in her mind to repent for. I still think you should have told them, Ginu says non-judgmentally. I know you want it to be a surprise and everything, but they've been asking me to convince you to come see them at least once a fucking day. Zoe barks out a laugh at the thought of it. Sounds like them. Well, you don't have to live that nightmare any longer, Juju, she teases, smirking proudly to herself when she finishes the parallel side. And yeah, I think it would have been smarter to tell them, but surprises are my thing. Did you know I always used to get Pinkie Pie on those main 6 quizzes? Who? Ginu asks, puzzled. Never mind, she says quickly. Her chair creaks under her while she rocks back and forth, fiddling with the cube. Besides, I didn't want to distract them from whatever they're busy with just so they can worry about me. It's better for everyone this way. That plus the fact that there's still a part of Zoe that thinks they'll see her and walk through oh god. They'll see her and walk through her like a ghost. They've been talking every day with group calls or solo calls or simple texts, but she can't help it. They haven't seen her in weeks, and feelings can be so fickle, especially if she's making them wait like this. I just need more time to make sure things will be okay at home, she remembers telling them. Another way to say that she needed time to think and to give them time to see if it was worth the wait. Rich people are infamously impatient people. A part of her thinks that's the reason why she told them that she'd follow them later instead of now. Self sabotage, maybe. Fear, mostly. Fair point. Genu mumbles under his breath. But you're sure the flight details you sent me are accurate? Yes, you stalker. I'm picking you up, he argues. Thank you for that, by the way, she gushes again. Her Rubik's Cube snaps back into place, and she quickly adds, Stalker. Genu huffs. She laughs and leans over to place her finished cube back on the desk. I'll see you in. Zoe assumes he pulled his phone back to squint at his packed calendar. Oh, that was Genu. I'll see you in a day and a half, I guess. Tell Derpy I can't wait to see him. You'll be seeing him in 2 days, Zoe corrects, pretending not to notice that he didn't say he was excited to see her, too. She can just rage bait him as revenge when she gets to Korea. He's going on a different flight with a babysitter. Had to pay extra, but she sighs dramatically. Anything for the prince of the house. The prince that you stole, Genu mutters. Thank you again for picking me up, Zoe says sweetly, pretending once again that she didn't hear him. If you're nice enough when I get there, maybe I'll let you pet him. Hope you have a good rest of your day, Juju boy. Thanks, he grunts, wisely choosing not to give in to her jests. I just ate a shit ton of baby's gaibi, so I'm gonna lie down for a bit till we learn more choreo. God, she'd love some gaibi right now instead of her dad burnt steaks. How'd you find it? She asks politely. On the on the table. Zoe holds back her snort. She can just relay this back to Mira and Rumi later to make fun of him. Maybe in person, if she's lucky. I can hear you trying not to laugh, Chino accuses. What is it? Nothing, she says very quickly. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for the talk, stalker. I love you. Mwah! She ends the call before Ginu can whine at her. And as soon as the call ends, her senses attune back to her surroundings, and she notices that it smells distantly like whenever she'd cook in the house. Aromatic, but burnt as hell. Oh, fuck. The rice! Zoe stuffs her phone into her shorts pocket and stumbles down the stairs with a disgruntled derpy in tow. She nearly slams face first into her dad when she cuts right into the kitchen. She peers at her curiously, spatula in hand. He's still sporting his bathrobe, but he looks quite proud of himself for the steaks openly sizzling on the stove. Why are you in such a hurry? He asks in suspicion. Nothing, she answers, very suspiciously. But her eyes betray her when she looks at the rice cooker over his shoulder, and he turns around to look at it. Zoe winces as he looks. God damn it. Ah, he says with a click of his tongue. She braces for his lecture, but all he says is, I made rice, 2 cups. Zoe regards him with an odd look. I thought you told me to make it. I tell you to do many things, he says, eyes back down to his precious steaks. Most of the time, you do not do. Zoe gives him a sheepish, apologetic smile. Sorry, it slipped my mind. He shakes his head. Apologize by fluffing the rice and doing the dishes tonight. I'm already tired. She doesn't argue with that. It was her fault not remembering, so she runs over to the rice cooker to open that bad boy up. It's fresh enough that a burst of hot steam makes her recoil, but she braves the heat and holds it from behind to prevent it from slipping while she fluffs it all up with a paddle. Behind her shoulder, she hears her dad say, "What time is your flight tonight?" 1 a.m., red eye flight to save some moolah, she replies automatically. He asked that yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. Who is coming? Who is here? Guys, my doorbell is ringing. I'll be back. Who is that? And there's no one else home right now, so it's like, oh god. How awesome and amazing. Okay. He asked that yesterday and the day before and the day before that. I think I'll leave the house around 9 p.m. He shakes his head. Go earlier. The traffic might catch up to you. She said she had a feeling he'd say that. I'll try, she answers instead of arguing. It doesn't feel right to argue with her dad before leaving for 2 weeks. It looks like he's thinking the same thing from the way he quietly hums along to the song on the speakers rather than lecturing her. She unclogs the sink of the caught food in the sink filter and throws it in the trash. Her nose wrinkles when she catches a whiff of last night's lunch as she opens the garbage lid. Hopefully, he remembers to take that out more than once in a while when she leaves. Zoe even made sure to write him a list of things to check and tack it on the fridge door with a magnet. She's sure she'll get a bunch of calls from him while she's in Korea, but that's also why she made sure to hire a home caretaker to check in once a day to make sure he doesn't collapse on the floor with no one to help or I will be okay, her dad reassures her. His voice sounds as gentle as she remembers it to be when she was a kid and thought her dad was invincible. I raised you without help for almost 20 years. I can do with myself if I need to. You can still call if you need help, Zoe blurts out. I don't want you stressing about anything while I. Bah. He waves his spatula at her dismissively. Your generation doesn't know how to take a phone call or learn how to ask the bank to raise your credit limit. You all need to learn how to be more independent like us. Which is her dad's way of saying, wow, Zoe, I'm excited for you to be going back to the country you used to live in, and I hope you have lots of fun and take lots of pictures. Zoe tried not to huff under her breath. He's the same guy who asked her how to stop the ads from popping up on his phone the other day. So sue her for being a little worried. Hell, half the reason she's taking Derpy with her is so that he has one less thing to worry about. She already she already heard enough yammering from him about how he had to take care of her cat while she was in New York. She opens the dishwasher to unload it. Dishes clatter together and she nearly doesn't hear her dad say, I hope you don't rely on those girls while you're there. It makes her flinch. It's the first time he's brought them up ever since they left. A pair of her had a part of her had wondered if he maybe thought them to be hallucinations from the medications. Like you said, she answers, a little bitter. I need to learn how to be more independent, so I'm going to be. She doesn't need Rumi or Mira to tell her how to take care of herself. That much she can agree with. It's just hard to admit that when he sounds like they're a problem. Her dad bastes the steak in the butter they're sitting in. He simply replies, Good. They're good girls, but I hope you aren't living your life for them. Defensive and a little hangry, Zoe snipes back. Where was all of this when they were paying for every single thing you wanted replaced in the house? Paying for things in exchange for repentance or love isn't something you can stop a person from doing, he says, his voice so quiet that it sounds close to the volume of the sizzles on the stove. You think I don't notice the things in your room? Zoe's movements slow as she puts the plates away. She looks over her shoulder for a second to look at her dad, but he's still busy watching the pan in his bunny-eared slippers. The pan sizzles again, and she hears the scrape of his spatula against its metal. I turned a blind eye because I knew you were smart enough to pull away if they wanted things you couldn't give back. Taking their money doesn't mean selling your future. Zoe's starting to understand his gripes. I didn't drop out of college for them, she explained slowly, glasses clinking in her hands. Actually, I didn't drop out, period. I'm going back after I rest up. I thought you knew that? He hums. Not what I mean, Zoe. Then what do you mean? Zoe asks, nearly slamming the pantry door closed. You were like this before they left, too. Did they piss you off or something? Did they do something? As annoyed as she is and sounds, Zoe's question is genuine. She may love them beyond the moon and back, but her dad's still her dad. She wouldn't hesitate to knock their heads together if they did something unabashedly tone deaf. But her dad just plates up steak on the dish next to the stove and says, No, they're beautiful girls, great girls. Zoe takes two clean plates and utensils from the bottom rack, then half closes the dishwasher door. She finishes unloading and then reloading after she eats. She could eat two horses right now, maybe even a pony too. So, what's wrong with wanting to hang out with them? Zoe asks, exasperated. Nothing is wrong, her dad insists, passing the steaks to her to place on the table too as she walks by. I'm just telling you, Zoe, that they can't protect you with money forever. Well, I don't need them to protect me, Zoe says simply. She nearly drops the fork, and her dad looks up at her curiously. She smiles back, sheepish, but hopefully confident. I can take care of myself. You taught me that. That quells her dad enough to drop it. He simply pounds his chest, hacks up some phlegm, and sniffs, then replies, Grab two steaks tonight. My parting gift, in case you get trafficked in Busan and I'm too poor to pay your ransom. Appa! She whines. But she's smiling because she knows he actually just means he's going to miss her. She pulls out her dad's chair before settling down on her own, and that insecure thought in the back of her mind, the very same one she's had to fight through over the past week, starts to tug its marionette strings again. She swallows the dry feeling in her throat and picks up the tongs before her dad does to bring the steaks onto their plates. What if she goes to Korea and they see her arrival as a nuisance? Do they miss her? And the next part is Rumi POV. I'm gonna check out the comments real quick just in case. Oh, Laylee was here. Sorry, y'all. Hi, Artie, my friend and I are listening to you while doing the polytrix puzzle. Yay. Polytrix puzzle? What is the polytrix puzzle? Is Zoe coming to join stream, obviously? Very excited to see more Gino interacted with all three of them together. It's gonna be chaos. So real. Oh, Ma was here. Aww. Oh, and Lauren had to hop off. Yeah, like the thing about having everything on my computer is that I already couldn't pay attention to the chat. I now like doubly can't pay attention to the chat. Okay. I'm gonna go check if someone like dropped a package at our door because someone rang the like doorbell and then didn't like come up, like rang the building doorbell. So I'm gonna check that and then I'll be back. Oh. Twas a package for me. Twas a package. But we're back. Okay. God. I've literally been like sick all of August. It's kind of so dire, but it's fine. It's fine. We're surviving. Oh god. Oh, I just noticed that. Wait. Let me fix this up, sorry. No one's saying anything. Yeah, I was like, uh, let me put it like this. Wait, I'm gonna go a little smaller. Is that a better? I think that's a little better. It's a bit small, but what can you do? Oh well. Well, what can you do? Okay. I've also been sick pretty much all month. It's so dire. Bunch of people are getting like I had to be on antibiotics, but I know a bunch of people are getting sick. Why these bodies gotta be so fragile? Am I right? Oh my god. Oh god, tell me about it. Okay. It's literally just the coughs for me. Like I'm not insanely sick like I used to be last week. But it's whatever. Rumi POV. Rumi misses Zoe more than anything else in the world. It's only been a couple of hours since they last spoke, or more like since she'd pressed her bleary face into her phone to watch Zoe play, but it's not any less true, especially on days like this, cramped in a booth with her hand pressed against the side of her headphones to better hear the quiet details in the mix, humming under her breath as she gets her bearings with the harmonies for a scratch track. The music pauses and pulls her out of her zen state. That sounded amazing, Rumi. Sound engineer gushes, his loud clap in her headphones making her subtly wince. Before you get back to the studio tomorrow, we'll make sure to clean up the track and can I have a few more? She blurts out, turning her head to smile apologetically through the glass. It's sorry, it just won't get out of my head. Her sound engineers grow quiet for a moment. Then one of them clears his throat and answers with a slightly chagrined, yeah, of course. Rumi mouths another apology to them, but they give her tired thumbs ups to tell her to go on ahead. It's been a long time since people she's worked with in the studio have seen her like this, willingly approaching the booth with an excited, twitchy aura about her and 1,000 different ideas in her head. It's like the rock that's been obstructing the no more writer's block river has finally been dislodged. A rock picked up by a giant crane with Kong Industries on the side, and an operator with a big bubbly smile and freckles that she could spend hours counting. The main track plays again, quite lacking in the instrumental department, save for a basic beat, but saved by the scratch vocals that she was recording a minute ago. Rumi moves her finger by her hip like a conductor, familiarizing herself with the count that she made up in a single 2 hour session. She hums into the mix, provides the upper register to the in progress harmony, then listen closely to the first 2 seconds of the next version. All it takes is one sharp look over to her sound engineers, and they pause the track before she even has to open her mouth. I might need you to pull me to the bridge, she says slowly, fingers rubbing against the rough material on her bracelet. A retake, just in case. I have something in mind. Got it, boss, one of them says with a thumbs up, and she's so concentrated on the large pop filter in front of her face that she doesn't bite him with a reminder not to call her that. A short metronome counts her back in, and Rumi sings slightly higher than her original take. Breathy like she would on late nights in a quaint home in Burbank or in the back of a car with custom glossy paint on the exterior. It's hardly like she's singing anymore, but remnants of what she told them, begged them for loving her, for saying, "If you love me, I'll give you that good life and make you want me more." Her own vocals played back to her in the scratch chorus a split second later makes her take a startled step back from the mic. She licks her lips, pops her head along to the unmixed drums. Another short glance towards the glass makes the music stop. Can you punch me in again? One more time? They obey, and Rumi shortens the notes on the harmony. She shakes her head to herself, and her team pauses again, rewinds, waits for a few seconds to make sure she has the vision in her head before they play again with no punch and roll. She nails it on the second try, but she still presses lips together in mild disappointment that it took her so long. Rumi takes one side of her headphones out and smiles at them radiantly to soften the blow of her next few words. Can I hear everything back together from the first chorus? Sounds a little messy, a sound engineer warns. Rumi shrugs. She's picked up that habit again from a certain someone. Don't worry, I won't fire anyone tonight, she jokes. It earns her a few laughs on the other side of the glass. It takes one click, then two. Then Rumi tilts her head to press closer into a headphone cup to listen to the drafted take of the song. She cracks a small smile to herself when she hears "You on your knees" and "No cap all facts" in the same quick bar they whipped up. One line to frustrate her favorite nonchalant driver, and the other make a freckled cutie giggle at the absurdity, and a subtle sign that Rumi adores and absorbs everything she says, even if half the time she has to look up. Her mouth subtly parts at a three-part harmony, still rough around the edges and slightly too low on the lower register, but coming together ever so slowly. Slow and steady wins the race, she's come to find out. Relationships can't be rushed, and neither can a great song. Her sound engineers seem to come to the same revelation. They've been quiet, instead supporting the same wrinkle in their brows that they get whenever they realize that something happening in the studio needs more care than they realized. The equivalent of locking in during one of Zoe's streams. At least she hopes she's using that right. Can you bring me back to the Midas touch line, please? Ooh, Rumi asks. Wait. What is this song? I don't know like every song that EJ has written, but I'm like, Midas touch. Okay, okay. Two clicks and the song blasts in her headphones again. She listens closely, then frowns when she hears "You'll have a good life if I'm next to you." She can change it to an antenna classis with a repetition of "good" in that line, maybe. The same way Zoe would whisper, "Antenna classis, what does that mean?" That sounds familiar, but antenna classis. Oh, it's when a word is repeated but in two different senses. Okay. You'll have a good life if I'm next to you. I'm gonna search up this song because I'm too curious to let it wait. You can still see my screen, right? Or can you? I don't know if you can see my screen right now. You'll have a good life if I'm next to you. Lyrics. No, can't find anything. On today's episode of Learning Words with Jaime. Oh, anyway. But then she hears a familiar harmony and she shakes her head and scratches at a light itch on top of her eyebrow. The music stops. What's wrong? One of them asks, and the other hovers his hand over the mouse in uncertainty. After a near decade of helping her mix her songs, they're quite attuned to her musical process. The Rumi makes a twirling motion with her finger to try and think of the right word. That's the wrong one, sorry. The chorus with Midas touch. I think the vocal stack we did 5 minutes ago. Her sound engineers glance at each other in confusion. Rumi tries to sigh in mild exasperation. They're hardworking people, just like she is. But if Zoe were here, Zoe would know exactly what she meant. Hell, maybe even before she asked it. She misses being so attuned with Zoe in her bedroom. The equipment there is less than subpar for professional recording like this, surrounded by expensive wall panels and a microphone that costs just as much as Zoe's house's down payment. She would know because Zoe had told them once in a offense when they guessed it in the millions, which was low to be fair, but it was really fun. She can't wait to bring Zoe to a studio like this one day. Maybe Mira could sit on the leather sofa on the other side of the wall and pretend not to watch them, even though the corner of her eye strays towards them when they giggle. Rumi's smile slowly melts away from her face. She can't be thinking about that right now. She clears her throat. The second chorus, I think. Thanks, guys. Her sound engineers nod slowly in understanding, and they click around until they bring her back to where she wants. They pause a split second before Rumi exclaims, Okay, okay, I think I nailed that one this time. That sounded great to me. Do you want to hear it back? One of them asks, hand already hovering over one of the faders. Rumi shakes her head, and both of her sound engineers raise their eyebrows in surprise. She already knows what they're thinking. The Rumi, the notorious sunny sunlight entertainment perfectionist, not insisting that they do 3 more takes? A year ago, she wouldn't have believed it either. Can we just copy and paste this section and try to build up? She asks them. She glances at the clock in the corner of the room. That's okay. Your wish is our command, they tell her, and Rumi smiles at them with relief. She doesn't add too much to this section. She already has a good foundation for the vocal layers and the padding, but a short, airy hum during a transition line feels like the last nail she needed for the proverbial coffin. Her sound engineers are grinning from ear to ear out of the corner of her eye, and it emboldens her. They haven't looked at her like that since they'd listened to the first draft of Armageddon a lifetime. Armageddon. I know that one. Armageddon a lifetime ago. The song that had catapulted her to a bigger North American audience. Very funny. Can we move that fragment over to the second half of You're Wanting More? Rumi asks again. Nearly an order. Well, practically is, considering they aren't really allowed to deny her anything in this cramped space. Before or after a sound engineer leans over to squint at the scrawls of lyrics on a notebook that she gave them, and the other one crosses his arms and chuckles, wanting more of this ass. I feel like the song she's writing right now is not a real EJ song, unless I'm like, unless I'm very mistaken. Wanting more of this ass. LMFAO. I wonder what the listeners of Rurumi will think when they're wanting more of this ass come out of her mouth. Oh, Rumi's grin tugs at the corner of her mouth. She tries her best to suppress it, but she doubts she looks any less wolfish. They're never going to let me put that on an album, huh? Afraid not, they retort. I mean, it's ATM. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have not listened to all of ATM, I don't think, which is I guess my bad. Okay. Oh no, it's very real. Okay, I will play ATM at the end of the song because I know that they were planning for ATM for a while, like Jaime was. I'm glad we're doing this now then. Yeah, I just haven't listened to ATM. So I didn't know the lyrics. Wanting more of this sass, all facts, no cap, makes you want it more. Okay. That makes so much more sense. God. Okay. She exhales in amusement. She knew they wouldn't. She knew they wouldn't. She knew they wouldn't. Not even if she tried to plead with Celine to negotiate for it. But she wanted a recording of that to exist anyway, just so she could record it through her phone mic later and send it to a group chat she knew would appreciate it. Can you punch me to it? She asks, but they're already moving around on the timeline to get her there. I could probably just change it to sass, right? Sounds like you've been thinking about it the entire time, the one with his fingers on the fader remarks. Rumi smiles and puts a finger to her lips. Music plays, and she tilts her head a fraction of a centimeter to the side. One of the engineers sees the subtle jerk and pauses the track without another word. Take me closer, it's okay, she tells them. Then I think I'll try a different note after that retake. Maybe to stack with the harmony? You might have to make the lead a little louder though. I was thinking maybe we could go with a more bare bones instrumental to let the vocals shine anyway. Someone taught her that once. I think you're coming for our jobs, Rumi, he jokes, and Rumi laughs. She hears them whisper while they scrub closer into the line, too muffled for her to hear most of it, but she doesn't catch inspired since and don't know either. Must be a new boyfriend. Hmm. Ha ha ha. If only you knew. Sorry, TikTok was making me do tasks again. Um, must be a new boyfriend. She tilts her head away from them to smirk a little to the wall. They have no idea how right and wrong they really are. Besides, most of her manic inspiration today is just because it's a good day. The clear blue sky outside after so many days of gray makes it hard to be sad today, especially not when the rare heat reminds her a little of sunny California. It doesn't take long to record the retake and the subsequent harmony. Her engineers work together to quicken the workflow, and they don't complain any time Rumi asks them to punch her back in somewhere or nudge the gain in either direction on a certain layer. Her smile widens as she listens to the full song. Rough around the edges, but another session or two in the studio should make it pretty enough to submit for an album in the future. It might even be single material. Her sound engineers clap and cheer when she takes off her headphones to signal wrapping up, and she steps out of the booth with pink cheeks and a shy smile. That's probably gonna go platinum, Rumi, one of them remarks, the sparkle in his eye sincere. The other one claps her on the back, and she grins despite herself. I'll be the first one to say it, he says slowly, the same twinkle in his eye. I think whatever roadblock you encountered just brought you to the longest stretch of success I've ever seen. The last three songs we've had the pleasure of mixing for you since you came back to Seoul have been back to back to back successes. Not that your last album wasn't great, the other sound engineer insists. Rumi barks out aloud at the slight panic on his face. Everything you've made has been incredible. This one's just been new, the other supplies. He tilts his head and squints at Rumi. I can't place why, honestly. It sounds just as gorgeous as the rest of your discography. The rapping elements, maybe? She did spend a considerable amount of time in America, the shorter one snickers. Rumi chuckles and bows slightly at her two seniors. Thank you for helping me today, she says sincerely, and they smile at her for the gratitude. I don't know what came over me either, if I'm being honest. I think the R&R from my vacation just... She shrugs and smiles, tight-lipped. Got my engine going, I guess. Oh, God, for that. He laughs, full from the belly. Have a good rest of your day, Rurumi. He claps her on the shoulder and shakes her hand. Down. Your mother would be so proud of you. She hardly flinches this time. She's gotten so used to the comment that she's learned to keep the sharpness of it contained in the slightest twitch of her mouth. I'll see you two tomorrow? Rumi asks them instead. They glance at each other, only for a split second. She notices, though, and narrows her eyes in curiosity. Bobby told us not to come in tomorrow, one of them explains. The other shrugs and adds, he said we'll be on call sometime this week, but definitely a no-go tomorrow. Why? She asks slowly. She racks her brain for the upcoming events tomorrow. Nothing too busy, just a meeting in the morning and a meet and greet with her new choreographer for the next comeback. Her comeback is still in the early stages of launch, but social media has been buzzing about it ever since she was spotted touching down at Incheon International Airport, and she's never been one to disappoint her fans. But the pressure to be the best she can be hasn't been too crushing on others. The weight is there, but it's far easier to breathe than she'd expected it to be. Maybe it's because she finally let someone help her hold the weight. Or two someones. We don't know. one replies, scratching the side of his cheek. I think he said something about giving you some time to rest, we assume, the other adds, gentler. I've had months to rest, Rumi answers, raising her eyebrows in surprise. She knows Bobby loves to insist that she sit down more, eat more, rest more, but he's never been one to dictate her schedule unless she explicitly asks or is in danger of, passing out on a hard studio floor. Why would I need? We don't know, Rumi. Her head sound engineer replies, smiling guiltily at her. But in case you're worried, we'll be working hard at home on your songs. When we see you again soon, they'll be polished and ready for you to toy around with. Ruminators won't know what hit them, the other remarks. Rumi chuckles at their enthusiasm, and she picks up the purse she left on the small sofa in the studio. She can hear them rustling around, picking up bags and jackets to leave as well. Then she hears, "Oh, we need a name for the song file before you go." Hmm. If you don't if you don't have one in mind, the other assures her, we can always just file it under unknown again and come back to it late. ATM, she answers succinctly. Stands for addicted to me. Any objections? Not at all. He types it up on the clacky keyboard with a faint smile on his face. The other leans over, his jacket hooked over his shoulder, and quietly asks, take any inspo for it, or she shrugs and politely answers, just came to me in a dream, I guess. Or more like a late night call the other night, with Mira snoring away on the line while Rumi and Zoe chatted the night away to nurse her insomnia. Zoe had whispered about being addicted to the things that Rumi gives her. Not your money, Zoe had insisted, hissing into the phone that night, even as Rumi giggled away. You're not my ATM. That's cute. That's really cute. Her last few songs have been inspired by things like that, she's noticed. Mundane things that spark the match out of nowhere. Then the studio door locks behind them, and they wave goodbye as they diverge in the long stretch of the polished sunlight entertainment hallway. She can hear the faint noise of a small meeting going on somewhere in a parallel room. The bigger meetings, where Celine must be, are held further upstairs, where they can't be bothered by her and the trainees' constant singing and practicing. Rumi bumps into said trainees on her way to the elevator. They're starry-eyed when they see her, and Rumi is the first to wave and call out to them. Their squeals of delight make her laugh. We didn't think we'd ever get a chance to meet you, the girl with the freckles squeals after they pose for a selfie. The magne of an upcoming girl group they're debuting in the fall, if Rumi remembers correctly. The freckles on her face make Rumi smile despite herself. We work in the same building, Rumi teases. Why wouldn't we? It just felt like it would have been too good to come true, her friend drawls, tall and lanky, lazily smacking gum in her mouth. Or that you'd be, like, too good to see your juniors. Never, Rumi stresses. I'll always have time to say hello to my hubis and to give you guys some advice if you ever need it. The five of them squeal. Not to sound like a total fangirl, one says, her voice pitched high with wobbly excitement. But I love your music. We love your music, the freckled girl insists. We heard the demo for Time After Time the other day, and we were so inspired. The girl next to her shushes her and hisses, we weren't supposed to tell anyone we snuck. Another bandmate laughs and waves a hand in front of her to stop them from delving into more bickering. Sorry about them, she apologizes, and Rumi shakes her head. We've just been really excited to be here. I auditioned for Sunlight Entertainment just for you. Rumi's mouth strains at the corners. Well, I hope you guys have been liking the training life. Let me know if you need anything, she says happily. I'll let Bobby know to give you my number. The squealing should have pierced her ears again, but she's used to the sea of screaming and squealing in a giant stadium, or the screeches directly in her ear when she manages to win something at a shoddy mall claw machine. Do you think we can have lunch with you today? One of them blurts. The other four turn to her sharply, mortified but too excited to tell her to shush. Oh, um, Rumi starts, her voice a little high. On any other day, it would have been a happy agreement. After all, her lunches have historically been spent alone in her studio or cooped up in the back of a chauffeured car. Unfortunately for them, she has plans this time, and not the kinds of plans she's eager for an excuse to get out of. Quite the opposite, actually. Girls, I'm sorry, but she tries again. Aw, not even for a few minutes? One of them whines. We can't even treat you to tteokbokki or ice cream if you prefer. Our treat, promise. Rumi knows how much weight that promise holds. Trainees like them are usually dead broke. She only survived because Celine used to pass her allowance when her other trainee friends weren't looking. Her resolve starts to crack. Old habits die hard, and nobody could fully beat the people pleasing tendencies out of her, even if it killed her in the process. If you find a place close by enough, maybe, she croaks out. Then she feels a hand on her back, gentle but firm. The palm rests somewhere appropriate, her middle back from what she can feel, but those fingertips dip lower, her waist nearly, than than where most wait, lower than where most would dare to venture with someone like her. It's a subtle claim, all the more promisingly dangerous for being made somewhere that tiptoes between private property and public. And yet, Rumi doesn't pull away from it. Sorry, girls, a lower, gruff voice says from behind her. Rumi has a packed schedule ahead. The girls are visibly disappointed, but they don't push to invite her to lunch again. To remedy the situation, Rumi quickly says, "But I'd love to come talk about some stage tips over Jungor some other time." That lifts their spirits, and they squeal quietly under their breaths before giving Rumi quick whispered versions of "I'm such a big fan" and "I really love the new hair for your comeback" before they file away down the hall to, Rumi assumes, head back into one of their larger studios for dance practice before lunch. Meanwhile, her bodyguard keeps their hand on Rumi's back. She feels light pressure when they start to disappear around the corner, and Rumi breathes out a quiet laugh as she walks to the nearby elevator. This is so good. This is like giggling, kicking my feet. Oh my god. I found fan art of Rumi in Chio's ATM fit. Oh, bodyguard Mira! Bodyguard Mira, give me a quick water break. Okay. The elevator door opens a moment later, thankfully without any other passengers on board. They shuffle inside, and Rumi pivots on her heel as soon as the doors close with a smooth click. You didn't have to come up and find me, she accuses lightly. But she can't keep the giddiness out of her voice, even if she tries. Mira frowns down at her. Even with thick sunglasses on and a hat that hides the pretty scar on her face, Rumi would know the shape of her lips and the smell of her skin anyway. She's lucky that she's tall and intimidating enough to pass for an eccentrically pink haired bodyguard. No questions asked. I missed you, Mira says simply, an answer without room for further questions. Rumi breathes out through her nose hard to keep from laughing out loud. She knows it would just make Mira whine even more if she did. She takes a short step forward, then pauses in slight confusion. It's just reflex, she realizes. Reflex from wanting to kiss Mira silly whenever she does things like this and they're alone somewhere. It's reflex from what feels like another lifetime ago. She knows she's allowed to do it again. After all, it's why Mira's here in the first place, to whisk her away like a prince and take her back to her castle, in this case, her penthouse, for their date. Her eyes even dart down to Mira's pouty lips, and she considers it, even when a part of her mind feels strange at the thought. Mira notices too. She looks down at Rumi with a slightly raised brow before she notices where Rumi had been looking and clears her throat before looking away to study the warning panels on the side of the elevator. Rumi has to press her lips together to keep from smiling. She'd been like that on their first date. Seems like a redo of their first date has to be her responsibility again. Not that she really minds. Besides, some history is worth repeating. I thought we were just having dinner together, Rumi muses out loud. Mira shrugs, but she's still avoiding eye contact with her. They didn't need me this morning for the second half of their conference, is her only explanation. Rumi tries not to roll her eyes, but that's Mira's MO, and she'd rather avoid plagiarism in her career. You could have spent the rest of the day at your dance studio. Weren't you complaining about not having time for it all week? Mira lazily tilts her head upwards to look at her through the shadow of her cap, one eyebrow raised. It's like you're already sick of me, she accuses in a drawl. No, I'm trying to stop you from getting too sick of me, Rumi quips back. Mira huffs out something akin to a chuckle. Oh, please. Too you for anyone to get bored. Hey, what does that? The door is open, and a few more people pour in. They hardly pay them any mind, with one of them busy on a call with a nasty client and the other two hunched over their phones. Still, Rumi clamps her mouth shut and tries not to look in Mira's direction. The next thing they want is questions, especially when the tether that holds them together is still so fragile. But Rumi hooks her pinky into Mira's colorful bracelet anyway. Out of the corner of her eye, she sees Mira smirk in a way that seems more giddy than prideful to people who know her well, right before she hides it with a dip of her chin and a cap that obscures the rest of her familiar face from local businessmen who most likely technically work for her on some level. Having Mira guide her all the way back to her car feels like an escapade, even though she still has her tracker active on her phone for half a dozen people to find her if needed. And Celine has definitely been notified of a certain license plate entering the joint parking lot. And even though they've done this dozens of times, both a couple of years ago and in the last couple of weeks, it's not as often as Rumi wishes they did. Most of the A year ago, she would have thought something as mundane as for her was something from a distant dream or a nightmare, depending on the alcohol levels in her system that night. Rumi doesn't hesitate to pull up Zoe's contact as soon as the seatbelt clicks into place. Mira snorts under her breath as the car purrs to life, but Rumi just shoots her a dirty look to keep her from saying anything. They've already bickered enough times this week in front of Zoe. They don't want another strike in their no fighting jar that Zoe had made for them, with the consequence of not getting to talk to Zoe for 24 hours or more. That's worse than a death sentence. Zoe picks up the phone on the second try, right as Mira leans over the window to pay the parking fee. Hi, Zori. Hi, Zori. Hi, sorry, Zoe says, a little winded. Just had my dad's world famous steaks for dinner, and you know how the bathroom trips after one of those go. Rumi sucks in a breath through her teeth in sympathy. At least it was good, right? Totally! He even gave me two today, Zoe says with a proud grin. It dimples her face, and Rumi leans her head against the window with a smile as she stares. She's so distracted by the flushed pink on Zoe's face that it's Mira who speaks for her. How come he gave you two tonight? She calls loudly for Zoe to hear, her eyes darting back and forth on the road to find an opening to slip away. He's the same dude who hoarded grapes. I didn't think he had it in him to give something like that away. He just woke up from his nap, so maybe he's a changed man, Zoe says with a shrug. She changes the topic before Rumi can jump in. Anyway, I'm sorry if it's going to be a short call tonight. I have to go somewhere soon. Aw, where to, baby? Rumi asks pitifully. Zoe glances away to look at something behind the camera, scratching a spot on her collarbone. Job interview? Job interview. Job interview? Mira asks incredulously, and Rumi nods along with the sentiment. What the hell do you need that for? You relax, Zoe says with a roll of her eyes. Rumi, tell her I just rolled my eyes at her ass. Rumi leans over to Mira's side. Zoe said. I know what she said, Mira grunts. Don't worry about it, for realsies, Zoe tells them, waving her hand at the camera. She sets it down on on her desk, and Derpy immediately comes up to block Zoe with a meow. She tries to lead Derpy away as she continues. It's just a part-time job at a ice cream shop for like experience and stuff. Zoe winces at her own words, but Rumi just nods along. Oh, that makes sense. I used to have a job like that. Zoe seems taken aback by that answer. Rumi has no idea why. Wait, you did? So did I, Mira calls, tapping the steering wheel as she turns onto another street. Worked retail for about a month over summer vacation in middle school to learn business shit firsthand. It was pretty fun. You should have tried working out Mom's Touch before your debut, Rumi tells them with a fond sigh. It felt like one of your video games, Sweet Pea. Fun, but a little stressful. I was so glad when I got to quit. Zoe blinks blankly at them. Once, then a couple of times, right before she quickly says, I'm going to pretend everything you both just said was a dream. Anyway, I'm gonna bounce and take a shower. Don't slip, Mira says with a wolfish grin. But first, Zoe declares, narrowing her eyes in mild displeasure at Mira, even if Mira can't see it. How are your guys' days? Exhausting, but I'm out of the studio, Rumi happily retorts. I made some great progress on a few songs, then started a draft for a song that popped into my head the other day. I think you'll like it, Zoe. I would have shown you while I was building the chorus, but you were streaming. I like anything you make, Bubby. Just show me later, Zoe tells her with a dimpled smile yet again. How about you, sexy lady holding the wheel? Nothing much, Mira answers, but a faint wisp of a smile appears on her face at Zoe's words. Rumi pretends not to notice, instead, leaning down to pick at an ice cold water bottle that Mira left, as she always does, in her cup holder. Stopped my brother from saying stupid shit at a conference again. Went to the gym, took a nice dip in the hot tub. Now I'm taking Rumi home. Typical shit. Doing anything afterwards? Zoe asks innocently. Yeah, Mira, Rumi says sweetly. She twists open the cap of her water bottle in her lap. What are you doing afterwards? Hopefully each other, Zoe teases. Rumi nearly chokes on her water. She feels the car swerve a little beneath them, but Mira corrects it in time. I'm kidding. Damn, the whole house is hard to please, Zoe mutters with a huff. No, but seriously, plans for today other than. She squints up at the ceiling to think, and Derpy meows and swishes his tail on the left side of the screen. Your dinner date, right? Hopefully, we don't get caught up in traffic forever, Rumi jokes, changing to the rear camera to show Zoe where they've just ended up stopping. They can hardly see the red light up ahead. Oof, Zoe says with a small giggle. Don't worry about it. Cali traffic trained you for this. Road rage hits harder when the insults are in Korean, Mira claims, the corner of her mouth twitching with mild rage when someone honks at her from the other lane. But plans till later tonight are, ugh, I'll either watch a couple episodes of that Love Island show you like while Rumi cleans her room for the 5th time today. Hey! Or we'll figure something out. Mira glances at Rumi and leans back from the steering wheel. Or maybe Rumi already knows what we should do. Why is it always gotta be on me? Rumi asks with a groan. Because you always say no when I ask if you want to go anywhere else, Mira asks flatly. She's got a point, Zoe agrees. Rumi asks, I don't know either. I'm a little tired, so just watching stuff at home, I guess. Sounds like a banger day if you ask me, Zoe says happily. Then she sighs, props her cheek on her hand, and mumbles, Don't forget about me, you guys. I'll be watching Love Island with you in spirit. If you're awake, we can stream it to you, Rumi volunteers. She knocks the side of her head against the glass again, the sounds of traffic muffled but rushing around them. We really do wish you were here, Zoe. The corners of Zoe's mouth twitch. It stops before Rumi can look too deeply into it. Me too, she says softly. She slaps her knee with her palm in the same way she does when she has to get up. Hey, I really need to brush my teeth and stuff before my dentist yells at me again about my cavities. Is there anything else you guys wanna? No, no, Rumi says quickly, shaking her head. It was really nice talking to you, Sweet Pea. Have a good night. And sweet dreams, Mira calls out. Try not to think too hard about the clowns from the horror movie we watched last night. You suck! Mira cackles, and Rumi pinches the back of her arm to make her stop. The call ends, and they don't get a chance to talk about anything else before Mira's dashboard lights up with an incoming call from her brother. Here we fucking go. Okay. Mira just rolls her eyes and denies the call. We can stop by somewhere to pick up some takeout if you. She starts, but never finishes as her brother sends her a text instead. Unfortunately, Minho figured out that she won't pick up a second call if she already declined the first. Mira growls under her breath as she leans over to expand the message. The long stretch of traffic gives them time to read his message. A little long, but still concise in what he wants from her. It was like he already had it typed for when she declined his call, which means it was urgent enough for him to put in the effort. He basically just needs her back home to talk to a repairman about the heating system that he is too busy to meet with. A second message follows not too long after Rumi finishes speed reading it. Father asked me to ask you too. She winces along with Mira's sigh. She knows for a fact that Minho only brings up their dad when it's something Mira can't say no to, unless she'd like to be served more emancipation or disownment legal papers. And as much as they both like to fantasize about a day when the Kong in her name is attached to nothing but herself, the court procedures would be messy, long, and something Mira had no energy to fight. Not to mention the media attention. The paparazzi and internet sleuths alike who dig their claws into Mira's back and peel her bare to the world for clicks and likes. Bare enough until everyone knows the lover she hides. Hid, she corrects herself. No, hides. Mira's protecting her again, and she'll do it again and again. The guilt lodges in Rumi's throat, large and jagged like the broken shards of a mirror. I'll drop you off and go back home, I guess, Mira says, her voice edged with annoyance and disappointment. I'll still be at your place tonight. Just let me know when I can swing by. I can come with you, Rumi blurts. Mira glances over at her, her brow furrowed. She looks back ahead when she notices the car in front of them starting to slowly inch forward. She mirrors it, then simply says, You don't have to do that. I know, Rumi just answers. I'd like to. I want to, she meant to say. But she likes to be wherever her girls are. She just wishes she could add, and Zoe wants to come with us too. Maybe she can record some videos of the random commissioned statues and paintings in Mira's house for Zoe to look at when she wakes up. Mira's always been too shy to show off the interior of her house, no matter how many times Zoe begs out of curiosity. Mira looks at her for a moment when they stop again. Her lips thin, and for a moment, Rumi's half afraid that she's going to make fun of her and call her clingy for coming along to something so mundane on an awfully ordinary afternoon. But she just looks back ahead, and she flicks on the turn signal to merge left. Towards the street that Shut up. Towards the street that Rumi knows like the back of her hand, the one that leads to one of the private properties owned by the Kong family. Can you guys hear that? Or I do have noise suppression on, so I don't know. A chill goes down her spine when she sees the roof looming ahead. The mansion and the family's preferred place of residence has never felt very homely to her. Well, maybe Zoe would call it that. Not to be nice, but because apparently Americans have a different idea of what it means for something to be homely. Still, she wonders, almost out loud, what it would be like to be here with Zoe. Would she even enjoy it? And the next part is Zoe Piome. Yeah, we're doing Gimme That Candy. Just so I can, like, is that a little easier to read over there? I don't know. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. Okay, I'm gonna plug my computer real quick. Oh my god, I'm so happy I don't have to worry about my phone charge anymore. Okay. How was your day, Artie? It's been fine. I did a lesson and now I'm here. I'm chilling. Oh, this is falling down. We don't want the webcam to fall down. If you could see what my webcam setup looks like right now, oh my god. Like the lowest of low tech. Oh my god, don't fall, please. I worked so hard to set it up. Oh, pleek. Pleek. Pleek, don't fall down. Pleek. 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 I'm feeling better, but I'm still coughing. Yeah, I think the horns are communicating. Only faintly. Okay. That's fine. Ah. Water. Everyone, I hope y'all are drinking your water too. Oh my god, don't fall! What the hell? What do I need to do to make you not fall? Please. Okay. Please. We might not be at risk of the phone dying anymore, but we might fall on the floor. Exactly. And you know what? We just gotta deal with that, I guess. What am I looking like on the... My YouTube looks crazy right now, I guess. Oh my god. Everything. Oh, shit. I have, like... Oh my god, not you. I have, like, 3 different tabs. Oh my god, I have 7 people on the YouTube? Hello! Hello, everyone! Crazy. Okay. Awesome. The next part is Zoe POV. Well, I have to go because I'm still a chapter behind. Bye. Bye, Rachel. Really, I understand if people are behind on GTC. I'm, like, not too worried about that. I'm gonna come a little over here. Just so my YouTube looks a little bit, all right. Have fun. Bye. Okay. Zora POV. Come over here. Everyone pray that I don't get so exhausted during the stream so that I can record a little after the stream for a GTC related thing. I've been needing to do this for so long. Anyway, Zoe POV. Who the hell wouldn't enjoy being in a giant mansion that looks like something out of Richie Rich? Oh, the pools she could cannonball from and the places that she could defile. It would be a dream. But the giant mansion sitting in an ad in the magazine she's reading while she waits for the line to die down at the airport is nothing more than an unattainable fantasy. She almost sighs wistfully at the close-up shots of the marble bathroom, but the old lady sitting next to her had already been shooting her nasty looks for the past hour. Sue her for needing to sit down instead of standing in line. Should she start wearing was in a car crash and also has really cool medical issues that her paramedics should definitely know about JIC just in case across her chest? No, that would probably wouldn't get anyone's attention. It's America. But finally, and thank God, St. Michael, the angels, blah, blah, whoever else she should pray for, the line starts to dwindle down with a good few hours left until departure. She's never going to tell her dad about this. He's going to rub it in her face until he's buried in the ground that he was right about needing to leave early for everything. She makes it to the front of the line in 10 minutes flat and flashes the agent her sincerest smile. Sure, it may be the first time in a long time that she's navigated an airport after she left Seoul at age 7, But at least she knows the golden rule of always treating workers as kindly as possible. And like, sure, yeah, she guesses going to New York counts, but they were ushered in by secret bodyguards the minute they stepped near the airport, so that was already her first clue that there wasn't anything for her to learn from. Besides, the search bar is her best friend. Thank God for whoever invented incognito tabs too, for the more um not safe for airport Wi-Fi searches. Girl, sorry, public service announcement. Incognito is not enough if you're on public Wi-Fi. Guys, if y'all need to do searches, you need VPN. Incognito does not work for that. Just some advice. Get a VPN. Yeah, girl, like that's not gonna do anything. ID or passport? The agent boredly asks. They go through the motion her in and tagging her checked bag, blah blah. And Zoe can finally confidently add somehow not fucking up at the airport to her list of achievements. She's left with a big backpack clipped to her chest and hips for optimal weight distribution and a fanny pack. Her dad nearly died of a heart attack from laughing the other night when he saw how big the backpack was compared to her body. Why do men have to laugh when they're prepared? The agent prints the ticket out for her just in case, even though she has a digital version, or three, on her phone. And Zoe flashes her one last smile and thanks her. She just smacks her gum and calls out, I can help whoever's next. Zoe takes 2, 4, 5 steps away from the kiosk when she realizes that there's something definitely wrong with her ticket. Hi, sorry, she calls out, speed walking back to the agent. She waves her ticket, slightly breathless with her heavy backpack. Damn, she really should have left her 3 power banks at home. Girl, what is your problem? And why do you have a backpack? Get a suitcase anyway. I think I think there's been a mistake on my ticket. The young family who had approached the kiosk glances between her and the agent. The agent sighs and motions for them to back up, and they shoot Zoe a dirty look before they do. Zoe smiles sheepishly in apology. She presses herself close to the counter and slides the ticket back. The agent pulls down her glasses to look at it. Zoe points at the seat number. Wrong seat, see? She explains, scrambling to open her phone to show the screenshot she took last week of her ticket. I bought 32C because it was the cheapest one, obviously. The ticket here says 1A. Ha ha, that's funny. That's funny. She presses her lips together to keep from making a punching joke. The last thing she wants is to be escorted out by TSA. The agent squints at her screenshot, then glances back down at the ticket. She frowns with the same confusion that Zoe feels, and she looks back at her monitor to click clack incessantly. Zoe puts her palms on the front of her jeans and looks away. She fights the desperate urge to whistle while she hears more keyboard typing and mouse clicking. Finally, the agent clicks her tongue and makes Zoe jump mildly in surprise. Ah, I see, she says, nodding her head. She taps Zoe's ticket on the counter with the back of a ballpoint pen. Your seat assignment was changed sometime this morning, so your screenshot is outdated, but this is all good to go. Panic rises in Zoe's chest when the agent starts to make eye contact with the family behind her. Wait, wait, she blurts out loudly, and the agent flicks her eyes back to her in mild exasperation. But I didn't change my seat. What happened? The agent gives the barest sigh and shrugs. Could be because of anything, kid. We do lotteries for prestige seats all the time, or sometimes a family member upgrades seats for relatives as a gift. Do I? Zoe blinks as she tries to process through that. Her brain's too slow right now. God, she really needs to hit up a coffee shop somewhere inside soon. But do I still need to, pay? She bleats out. The agent shakes her head, already beckoning the family forward. It's an upgraded seat. You weren't charged anything. If you were, take it up with the management. They might be able to refund you. Thank fuck. With airline points, ID, or passport? Welp, here's to hoping whoever hacked her account just to give her a new random seat wasn't merciless enough to put her in credit card debt or drain her checking or and leave her with an overdraft fee. Ugh. Next, Mira POV. What's an overdraft fee? The Mira RP account did tweet that. I do remember that. Oh god. This section had me so stressed. I have airport trauma already, and this would have wrecked me. Like, if I book something, please don't change it without telling me. Actually, just don't change it at all. I don't need that stress. Yeah, so true. But in this case, it's fun because we know what happened. Mira POV. What the heck? What's an overdraft fee? I almost said, what the heck is an overdraft fee? Oh, Mira frowns down at the text in her hand. What, a military draft fee? Do Americans get those? She sends an LOL back to Zoe and makes a mental note to check what it means when they wrap up here. She pockets her phone just in time for the estate engineer to clap his hands together and rub them like firewood, announcing with his confident, boomy voice that the Kangs will live another day with a good heating system. He bows to her, even. We thank you so much for your patience, Kang Mira, he says humbly, hand to his chest. It means the world to us that you trust us with repairing your home's mechanical systems. Of course, she says with a slight bow of her head in return. It's always a relief to have you back at the house. She takes his firm hand and pumps it up and down. He tries to pull his other hand on top of hers, but she slips away from his grasp before he can get his sweaty hands on her. His assistant, younger man, but still definitely twice her age, tries to grip her hand too, but she offers the back of her hand instead, like a princess, and he awkwardly grasps it. She presses down the smirk on her face. These kinds of men are just too easy to read. If this is what her father needed help with, then he's just getting sloppy and lazy. Then again, she has no qualms about staying where she is in terms of business related responsibilities. They're escorted off the property, first by her, then the bodyguards who nod to her in respectful acknowledgement. It just leaves her in a giant hallway, so empty and echoey. No wonder Minho leaves the house so often. The place is so damn big that it feels claustrophobic. She nearly bumps into an attendant on the way to the living room. My apologies. I wasn't looking where I was going, she stammers, cowering under Mira's gaze. Mira purses her lips in mild guilt. All the time she was in Burbank also meant that she left everyone else under this roof with Minho. It's okay, she says, as gently as possible. She clears her throat. How's your son, Junhwan? Her attendant falters slightly. Oh, he's at that age where he eats more than he sleeps or speaks, she says with a small sigh, fiddling with the dirty cloth in her hand. He got a stomachache last night, too. No thanks to all the food he keeps buying on the street with his friends. But he's still sweet. He says thank you for the headphones you got him. She gives Mira a small, knowing smile. For what, she can't tell. He loves them because they're the same ones his favorite streamer likes to use. Mira cracks a small smile. She bobs her head at her house attendant in acknowledgement, then says, Go home. She's rightfully so. Mira tries again with, Go home for tonight and take care of him. I'll make sure you'll be paid for the entire day. Her attendant breathes out a sigh of surprise. Are you? Yes, yes. Mira jerks her chin slightly over her shoulder. Go. If you get sicker, tell me. Not. She holds her tongue. People listen through the walls sometimes. Just let me know next time. There's a glassy shine in her attendant's eyes when she bows and skitters off, as if afraid that Mira would change her mind if she didn't run fast enough. Mira sighs, shuffles to the couch, and pulls out her phone to read through her missed notifications. It'll take more time to get used to being back home, but she supposes she can start with lounging alone in the same spot she used to all the time. She lasts 2.5 minutes this time, 30 seconds longer than the last time, which was yesterday, probably. The phone rings for a couple of seconds before Zoe answers, oddly without her camera on like it usually is, with her mewing or double chinning at her to make her laugh. It's disappointing, but Mira's still happy to hear her voice, even if she is the lone person in the corner of her phone screen. You big clingy baby, Zoe teases, her voice sounding slightly muffled, a hallmark of when she's wearing those cheap earphones, Mira's noticed. I told you that I was busy tonight. And I told you that you can deny my calls whenever you need to, she retorts. Not like I would go ballistic on you for living your life. I just called to check if you aren't. Real smooth, Zoe drawls. Mira strains her ears as she listens to the background of wherever Zoe is. Her earphones are low quality, but they're excellent at removing any background noise from what she's noticed. Not all noise, though. She can hear other people, distant but in large numbers. Where are you right now? Mira asks curiously. At my job interview, Zoe replies, a little too fast. Mira narrows her eyes at the screen, and she knows Zoe can see her staring. Good. Where's Rumi? Zoe asks instead, effectively drawing Mira's suspicion away. I thought you said she went to hide with you, and you guys' locations are still at your Wayne Manor. Who's the stalker now? Mira jokes, and Zoe's distant, clipping whine makes her split into a small grin. Rumi's just in the bathroom. Are you sure you're not? Zoe teases. Or maybe it's Freaky Friday. Mira rolls her eyes and replies, no, you weirdo. She just ate a shit ton from the cheese platter that one of the chefs handed her and had to run. It makes Zoe burst into a few giggles. Don't laugh. I know for a fact that you would have done the same thing. Hey, who can say no to cheese appetizers from a chef? Zoe asks, a little insulted. I'm on her side, actually. Did you give her some water at least? Mira sighs in irritation and shifts her weight on the couch. She ankle up to her knee and leans back, watching Zoe's static profile picture. I offered, but she wouldn't let me in the bathroom to give her anything, which is to me. I've seen her ass. Why is it suddenly scandalous if I see it mid shit? Zoe guffaws. Dude, you're starting to sound like me. Shrugging, she replies, guess you're just rubbing off on me. Good, Zoe says brightly. There's a two-tone chime in the background, LMFAO, and Zoe temporarily mutes herself, but she's back 4 seconds later. Mira raises her eyebrow. Anyway, you sound like a hypocrite. You don't let me in the bathroom to sing for you while you shit. Because that's psychotic. See? Hypocrite, Zoe says, clicking her tongue. Not the worst thing I've ever been hypocritical about, she answers plainly with a half shrug. But enough about Rumi. Or me. Did you eat yet, darling? Zoe doesn't say anything. Mira has to keep down her own smile when she realizes why. Oh, sweetling, you're smiling, aren't you? Mira drawls in a tease. Stop it! Zoe hisses through gritted teeth. But Mira can hear the smile in her voice and the barely suppressed giggles that she's trying to keep down. Mira hears her mumble something, but it's unintelligible through a combination of shitty earphones. God, she needs to hide those earphones and get Zoe better ones. And the chatter in the background. What kind of fucking job interview is she going to? Say that again? Mira asks curiously. No, Zoe exclaims, appalled. I mean it, Mira insists, shifting on the couch and putting on a poker face to stop Zoe from being spooked. I had no idea what you said. I even had you on speaker. Zoe mumbles something, probably akin to a curse or an insult, and Mira desperately keeps herself from smirking at the phone. Oh, how she loves doing this to Zoe. Just said, You know, Zoe mutters again. I know. You know! Or maybe you know, but I don't know what I know what you know. Oh, I don't know that I know what you know. Stop! Zoe whines. Mira just raises her eyebrows, ready to listen to what she has to say. Just, just, Zoe mutters, an angry hiss through her lips. I just think that it sounds really hot whenever you call me pet names in English. Mira raises her eyebrows in mock surprise. Really? She asks, injecting shock. And why is that? Stop! Zoe hisses again. I'm just asking, Angel. Zoe lets out a noise like a tea kettle. You know I'm not going anywhere unless you tell me, Mira says patiently. I know, Zoe snaps. There's some shuffling on the other end, and her static profile picture lights up as she moans in pain. Mira has to bite down on the inside of her cheek and bounce her leg to keep from laughing. Just, it's just, your voice gets really low when you speak English, and you have this really sexy, subtle, super haughty, voluptuous British accent. I told you it's not British. It's British to a Californian, Zoe argues. And, I still and I still think it's really super hot, sexy, cutesy whenever you call me pet names in other languages. But on days you rage bait me too much, I just pretend you're calling me stinky poo poo head or something so I don't fold. Gurum, hangugorum mareboka? Mira asks, nearly in a purr. And Zoe's voice slowly fades. Then should I speak in Korean? Nemoksoriga de mome dononji. Okay, let me try that. Nemoksoriga de mom dononji. Let's find out together if you like my voice better that way. It takes Zoe exactly 3 seconds to react. It's quiet at first until Mira has to pull her phone away from her face as Zoe squeaks, loud even with her earphones in. What? Who? You can't. I'm not. What? That's not. Why would you think? Breathe, baby. Mira teases. Zoe does the opposite of breathe. She can hear the smallest breath fly out of Zoe's mouth like a tiny puncture in a tire, and the laugh that comes out of her is unabashedly unfiltered, what with snorting and cackling alike. Zoe's just really fun to make fun of, which Zoe can't hold against her, given how often she does the exact same shit. Mira has all the videos that start with Zoe sliding her phone under the bathroom door to prove it. Korean or English or Italian, Kanto, Portuguese, blah blah. Mira says in a drawl, sinking her shoulder blades back into the sofa. I don't think you really care what language I speak, Sota. Cutie. She scoffs under her breath in amusement when she hears a muffled groan from the other end. I think you just like hearing me talk. Yeah, well, who wouldn't like hearing you say whatever when you're knuckles deep? Zoe mutters. Mira's head snaps up toward her phone. What? What? Zoe echoes instantly. What'd you say? What do you mean? Mira opens her mouth to retort with. She doesn't actually really know, but there's an attempt before her eyes flicker over her phone and towards the large mouth of the hallway, where she can hear commotion from outside. She would know that annoying little voice anywhere. Pompous piece of shit hasn't even come inside yet, and he's already complaining about something to someone. She lets out a small sigh of irritation. It should have been barely noticeable to the naked eye, especially through a phone screen, but Zoe's perceptive. There's some echo chatter and mutters from her in whatever giant interview room she's in. Then she says, "Hey, if you need to go, I don't mind. I'm almost through security anyway. For the candy shop interview thing. It's like super strict here, I guess." Mira tilts her head. I thought you were interviewing with an ice cream place. Huh? Oh! Zoe lets out a weird laugh. Yeah, that too. It's like this millennial startup place where the ice cream shop is connected to the candy shop. Hope they offer discounts for dentist appointments. Hey, ever heard of Ray's Candy Store? Ray's Candy Store has ice cream. um, Why do they need that for? Dentists are already pretty cheap. Fuck you, Mira. Dentists are already pretty cheap. Why else would they tell people to come in every 6 months? I hate rich people. Oh my god. But Mira doesn't have enough time to ask. So she says instead, I can't believe you were flirting with me while you were standing in line. What? Me? The deep offense in Zoe's voice makes her grin again. Ah, the power she has now that Zoe can't see her at her most vulnerable in the bathroom and wield it against her. You're the one who was flirting with me. Didn't you just tell me you liked it whenever I wasn't nug? Ah, Hajima! Zoe whines, drawn out and high pitched. It's so cute that a smile that means stop it. I looked and then forgot to say ah Hajima. It's so cute that a smile on Mira's face tugs up before she can, well, stop it. Okay, I really have to go, and I think you do too, weirdo. I love you. I'll see you later. Mwah. Be safe, Mira blurts. Love you too. More whining. Kidding. I love you too. Tell us how the interview, girls. Oh, that's really cute. That's really cute. If you don't know what that is, this happened to me IRL. This happened to me IRL. Um I was just interacting with the Zoe RP account on Twitter. I was like, because I was being like, oh my god, I hate rich people, and Mira, you can't get away from that. And then Zoe was like, I need to defend Artie Oomphy. And I was like, love you, Zoe. And she was like, you forgot the I. And I was like, huh? And she was like, you forgot to put the I in I love you. And I'm like, oh, sorry. That's very cute. That's very cute, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is taken directly from Zoe, like the Zoe RP account. So that's very, very cute. Love you too. More whining. Kidding. I love you too. Tell us how the interview goes. Will do, she says happily. Then she presses one last kiss to the phone and leaves. Mira almost curses under her breath as soon as the call ends. She should have added, and I'll see you too there, as she usually does. She doesn't want to give the impression that she doesn't want to call Zoe later tonight. Or maybe she's just overthinking it, and Rumi's thoughts are starting to merge with hers, the same way old couples start to look like each other. But then the first floor comes alive, in the worst kind of way, in her opinion. Attendants begin to scramble from upstairs, the kitchen, and anywhere in the general vicinity that could have heard the door jingle, wiping the fronts of their skirts and wringing their hands. She presses her lips together, but she doesn't say anything. Her phone just falls lounging. No way. Her phone just falls onto her lap, and she turns on the TV and props her feet onto the coffee table to pretend that she'd been busy all day. Minho's clearly not in a good mood. Everyone, everyone, pray that I can make an Isa voice. I won't be able to, but I'll do my best. Minho's clearly not in a good mood. He's far enough down the hall that she's spared from understanding his grating commands and complaints, but she's close enough that his voice still rivals the random news on TV, and it's news that she kind of wants to listen to. He stomps into the living room with an aura of malodorous fury around him, but he stops dead in his tracks when he sees her sprawled comfortably on the sofa. What are you smiling about? He asks suspiciously. Fuck. She drops her smile as fast as she can and mentally slaps herself in the face. That's on her for forgetting how she looks whenever she gets off the phone with Zoe, she supposes. Just getting some cool news on TV, she replies, bored. Why? Minho strips off his jacket and looks to the side at the giant flat screen. An attendant takes his jacket and scampers off, and he doesn't so much as spare another glance. Instead, he snaps, laugh at the scandals all you want. It'll drip down to you eventually. Mira waves her hand in rude dismissal. He sucked as a managing director, and I know you agree. It's a good thing that he's gone now. He scoffs, holding out his hand for a lint roller. A man doesn't look him in the eye. A man doesn't look him in the eyes when he hands it over. Minho rolls it down his chest and under his tie as he replies, "It'll be good for us in a couple of years when people forget his stupid fucking name. Right now, I have to be the one to put out the fires while you sit here and watch." "Hey, I met up with the estate engineer like you asked," she snaps, sitting up. "And I thought you all wanted me to stay away from the company." "What was it you said to me yesterday? We don't want a pink bimbo in the spotlight, too." He laughs dryly. "Bimbo? Sorry, like is the last person you can call a bimbo, girl." He laughs dryly, turning his shoulder away from her to toss the lint roller at someone, snapping his fingers for a glass of lemon water. I need him to die, like right this second. He gives the girl a new cleaner for the house, a wink and a half grin that makes his sharp, pearly white canine poke out. Mira tries not to roll her eyes. It gets harder and harder every day with this guy. "Father wants you to go to a gallery event on Friday," he says after a sip. He pockets his hand and leans against the arch of the open hallway. "Friday?" Mira echoes flatly. "Mm-hmm," he says just as flatly while he noisily sips. "This Friday? In 2 days? Well, if it was next Friday, I would have told you so." Mira breathes out a shaky, hot breath of annoyance. She lowers the volume on the TV and tosses the remote onto the coffee table with an equally irritating clack. "I have a shoot all afternoon on Friday," she explains as calmly as possible. She can see a few of the house staff cleaning the displays along the wall beside her. She knows they're listening, but she also knows that they would never speak a whisper of what they hear inside this house, let alone speak up against or for them. She saw it as a blessing and a curse, even as a child. "Well, that's great news, Mira," he says sarcastically, tapping the side of his glass with a noisy, silver ringed finger in a mock attempt at a clap. "Most of the gallery is hosted at night. You can just cut your little modeling short and attend afterwards." "I can't," Mira explains again, teeth gritted. "They need me there all day." "Then you don't do the shoot," he replies, sounding awfully bored. "You get a lot of those, remember? Just reschedule or pick up a new one." At her silence, Minho brings the glass down from his mouth. He has a faint smirk on his lips, and Mira wishes for nothing more than to take the glass in his hand and splash him in the eyes with lemon water. "Hmm," is all he offers before he places his empty glass onto a tray, which clatters. "Don't worry, you'll enjoy it. It's an avant-garde gallery celebrating some American artist who just moved to Seoul. Rags to riches story. I know your heart bleeds for those kinds of people." Mira doesn't give him the satisfaction of a reaction. She just answers, "Why even bother attending? Artists aren't useful to us." "Not the artist," Minho says with a shrug. He folds his arms over his chest and watches her carefully. "The people on the RSVP list seemed new. Father wants you to come home with a few connections. He doesn't really care how. Make small talk, bat your eyelashes, get their numbers, or..." He shrugs again, so casually that it makes her stomach turn. "Whatever a woman like you needs to do to convince someone to be our friend." Uh, Vomits, 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 vomits. Jesus, that voice is not good for my voice. Okay. He puts his hands up in surrender when Mira narrows her eyes at him. "Father's words, not mine." It's not the kind of sentiment that she hasn't heard before, but it still makes something in her gut writhe with discomfort. She doesn't show it on her face. The minute she shows any of these people, including her family, that she's affected, she loses her hand. So she answers, "Fine, but I won't do any more favors till after this weekend." "Fine by me," Minho says, pulling out his phone to check his texts. I'll be in Italy with our cousins anyway. Songwook's getting married. She'd rather lick a toilet than watch Songwook get married. She just feels bad for his bride. I have a +1 for the event, Mira asks. His thumb freezes over his phone, and he glances up at her, eyes squinting. Who the hell are you bringing to it? Oh no! Oh no! I'm gonna get crazy secondhand embarrassment. Oh no! Oh no! Oh god! Who the hell are you bringing to it? Your bird? Jagia! Rumi calls from around the corner. Mira whips her head over just in time to watch her slightly breathless and poking at the phone in her hand with one finger. Oh no. I adore your house staff. Did you know that? And your toilet. Do you remember what model it is? I should really ask Bobby to install the same heaters you have around the. Oh. Oh, I need to die. I need to die. We are all krilling our elves. Oh god. She stands next to the couch, just an arm's length, at least Mira's arm length, from each away. What? She stands next to just an arm's length. Minho. I think that's just a typo. Minho. She gapes at him, who stares back at her in greater shock. Hello, Rumi says awkwardly, bowing slightly to Minho in polite greeting. God, how Mira wishes she could tell her not to feed her brother's ego. But Rumi had always insisted that she wanted to be on good terms with her family, or at least not on assassination attempt terms. I'm sorry if I'm intruding. Not at all, Minho instantly answers. And Mira stops the scoff in her throat by clamping her teeth together as fast as she can. He turns off his phone and pockets it with a subtle clearing of his throat. Then he looks at Mira with that look in her eyes, and Mira tries not to gag as he asks, is she staying for dinner? No, Mira snaps. There's somewhere I have to drive her back to in an hour. Shame, he says, voice flat. Shame that the two of you seem to be on friendly terms again. Mira wishes she could say, oh, don't flatter yourself. You could be the last person on earth that me could ever go out with, and she'd still reject you to eat dinner with a blobfish. And she knows that as a fact because Rumi admitted those same exact words in bed when they were tipsy, but still. Rumi saves her by answering, it's really nice to see your house again. Were you the one to suggest the remodeling of the hallway in the west wing? The wallpaper's a beautiful now. He preens at that, scratching at his hair with a light, proud chuckle, and Mira blows out a short laugh. Rumi gives her a short glance in warning. Thank God for having a girl who's PR trained. I was, yes, he says, and Mira bites down on the tip of her tongue because he still can't tell the difference between cream and ivory for his suits. Minho clears his throat. I have some personal business to attend to. Thank you for making my day brighter, Miss Rumi, she replies, and Mira wants to sigh so deeply that even her grandfather in the graveyard can hear it. He's been flirting with her for how long? And he still can't be asked to remember her first name. He walks past Mira, then over to Rumi. He takes her hand and plants a gentle kiss on the knuckle. Mira looks up with a small snarl, then whispers something in her ear before giving her a short pat on the shoulder and departing all the way upstairs. His shoes echo all the way up. When the footsteps begin to fade, Rumi finally lets go of the breath in her chest. The attendants nearby are dismissed with a subtle flick of Mira's wrists, and Rumi shuffles over to collapse next to Mira with a small groan, or more like on Mira. Mira chuckles close to her warm ear and tries desperately not to kiss it or bite it the way she used to whenever Rumi would fall onto her like this. She distracts herself by clutching Rumi's jacket a little tighter in a fist. I don't know how you never flinch when he does things like that. Mira comments, a little bitter. Not with her, of course. Sometimes she wishes she could make the Cain and Abel story a bit of a bit of a reality. Rumi snorts, scrolling through her phone closer so that Mira can see. He's not the first or last person who thinks I swoon whenever they flirt with me, she mutters. Mira frowns to herself. If he makes you too uncomfortable, you could tell. I know. Is she imagining it, or did Rumi just roll her eyes at her? Trust me, he's fine. If I have to deal with him so I can have you, then I'll let him kiss my hand 500 times. I don't know whether to call you a romantic or the grossest woman. Say to before he left, by the way. Rumi's nose rings phone to her chest and tilts her head up to look at her. Told me to look through your messages when you're asleep. Mira raises her eyebrows. Why the fuck? Why? Shrugging, Rumi answers, maybe I saw a glimpse of you and Zoe talking. Ugh. Well, whatever he wants to think, she doesn't really give a shit to explain it to him. It's not like he would care or understand. It might make it even worse now that she thinks about it, either because of his incessant jealousy or her incessant jealousy of her, or through his constant threats of blackmail, even when she knows he's too pussy shit to actually try. Then Rumi sighs again and shuffles in her lap to look at her more closely, and Mira's eyebrows go higher in concern. What? Mira says slowly. She knows that look on Rumi's face anyway, with her gnawing lip and her big eyes. Rumi's worried about something. Um, is the only thing Rumi can say. Mira lets out a short, breathless laugh. Tell me, it's okay. She gives Rumi's elbow a small squeeze. I promise, Goguma. The first time she called Rumi Goguma was 4 days into their relationship when they were munching on dried sweet potatoes during a movie, and Mira couldn't help but make the connection between them, her hair, and her cute little sweet cheeks. She still remembers how loud Rumi whined into her hands. Hi. Hi, Rachel. It makes her whine just as loudly now, with Rumi pressing her face into Mira's chest in a small act of childish defiance. It makes her laugh and laugh and laugh, like she did in that stupid theater. At least now there's no one to tell them to shut up. She made a promise to herself once that she'd make Rumi whine and laugh like that forever during their good old days. Or maybe not so good now that she has the foresight of self reflection and cautionary tales, especially the tale of never call your girlfriend sweet potato as a subtle insult because she's frustrating you. Rumi seems to have made quiet promises of her own, because instead of waving her wrist and insisting that it's fine and she'll take care of it, don't worry, Rumi blurts out, I don't think I can do dinner tonight. I'm really sorry. Mira studies her face with mere curiosity. Okay, can I ask why? You're not mad? Rumi asks, her voice slightly high. You wouldn't cancel unless you had a good reason, Mira explains patiently. So, can I ask why? You don't have to tell. An ambassador piece I was gifted got stolen from the styling room, and because it was a borrowed piece, I was only meant to wear it next week at a red carpet event for a friend's film, so we have to do an emergency fitting with a different stylist just in case they can't. Okay, Mira says with a small laugh. That's fine. Where do I take you? When do I take you there? Rumi stares at her. Mira huffs out a breath and appeasingly drawls. And what time do I pick you up? Wait, and what time do I pick you up? You're not mad? Rumi asks slowly. No, Rumi, I'm going to flip this couch over and scream at you for half an hour because you had to cancel for something super important at work. Mira raises her eyebrows at her to say, see? Rumi wrinkles her. Oh my Rumira, I love them. Rumi wrinkles her nose again, and Mira feels her cheeks lift with a tight-lipped smile. Was I that bad a few years ago? Mira asks in curiosity. and maybe in slight distress. Is rekindling their relationship that good of an idea if Rumi's eyes go wide and she shakes her head as she babbles? What? No, I mean, yeah, we both got pissed off at small things sometimes, but not like that. It's other partners who weren't so. She clicks her tongue and looks up to find the perfect word. She lands on understanding. Mira's mouth separates. She looks away and nods her head to let that gently process. Then she shrugs, shifts with Rumi still crushing her, and declares, well, lucky for you, you're dating two people who know a thing or two about public eyes and busy schedules. She expects Rumi to scoff, roll her eyes, poke her in the rib, or complain that she's making fun of her somehow. But Rumi just tilts her chin up again to her, eyes crinkling at the corners with a smile that pushes small dents next to the corners of her lips. Why are you looking at me like that? Mira asked suspiciously. Rumi's eyes glanced down to her lips. Mira would know because Rumi had done it at least 1,000 times, 1,000,000,000 times before she looks back up at her and shrugs, her smile widening. She has no idea how she manages not to give in to the urge of pushing her palm gently into Rumi's neck so that she can breathe her into a kiss. It's nothing, Rumi says, her voice sounding too smiley somehow to be nothing. Mira narrows her eyes, but she quickly adds, Are you free? Are you free on Friday to reschedule? Mira's shoulders slump in disappointment. She clicks her tongue, then murmurs dismally, No, I have an event to attend, apparently. Rumi is unperturbed. She shifts again until they're practically chest to chest, and Mira nearly stops breathing. Tomorrow? Mira tries to imagine her calendar in her head. She has a short commercial tomorrow for some new moisturizer, she thinks, but nothing that she can't just postpone something as important as a home cooked dinner with a pretty girl. I can do that, she says tentatively. You? Fuck, wait. Breathing out a laugh, Rumi teases. I asked, Babo, dummy. Get off me, Mira groans, and Rumi laughs at her as she sits up and scoots a little bit away. Yeah, she's annoyed that Rumi caught her off guard, but mostly she just wanted Rumi to stop looking at her like that and that close. Same time, Mira asks, before Rumi can joke around some more. Rumi pouts and looks away to think for a minute, not helping her dilemma here, then answers, I think so. Yes. Mira clears her throat. Don't be late. Ha, get it? Water break. Goguma is a pet name. Oh, remember communicating. Oh, they're cute. They're very, very sweet. Ruby disinfect that hand instantly. Each minnow, dear God, they're multiplying. Oh, oh God. I'm like almost halfway there. Um, I'll probably read the next. And wants to go 3 hours, so I'll probably do that. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna check something really quick. I'm excited to listen to ATM at the end of this because, like, I haven't listened to it. If you haven't seen Jaime's new tweet, Jaime printed the Zomira Prince art where they're dancing in the kitchen to make a Jiangyu and Mei Hong sign, which is so awesome. Oh, okay. Oh, where did I go? Ah! Okay. 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 Zoe POV. The best part about growing up with a neurotic father who always makes sure that she's 2 hours early to everything, even 5 a.m. band practice, it's being on time to her first solo flight in, well, ever. Time is money, blah, blah, blah. She's proud to say that she's rich in time. Zoe hands her newly printed ticket to the security guard right before she enters the war zone, aka the infamous TSA security lanes. The line already made her feel sweaty and gross, which is not helped by the dude standing behind her who smells like feet covered in doo doo, so she can already imagine how much sweatier she's about to get when she finally enters the sting zone. She really hadn't been looking forward to sweating her ass off while taking off her sneakers and putting out her laptop and camera and headphones and the scanner beeps and the security guard boredly hands her ticket back to her. But he snatches it back before he squints at her boarding pass and muses, "You know you're in the wrong line, right?" Oh shit, shit, shit. Uh is her survived her first solo airport trip badge going to be snatched away from her because she couldn't read a sign for the right security lanes? Sorry, I is this not airport security? The agent squints at her again and hands back her pass, albeit slowly. But ma'am, he unclips the rope on the stanchion, much to her shock. Priority is over there. Another TSA agent ushers her away, all while she ducks her head and doesn't look behind her in case they see her as some kind of traitor before she can ask WTF that means. And WTF that means is apparently an entire security lane all to herself and a personal TSA dude who checks her bag for her and guides her through the metal detector without anyone else around them. Is she about to get murdered? Is this a cartel hit? All she does for a living is stream shit. As she shoves her shoes back on and awkwardly hops on one foot, her personal TSA agent drones. Lounge is on level 5 at TBIT. Enjoy your vacation, ma'am. Lounge? She checks her watch and purses her lips. Yeah, she has a good few hours until her flight leaves, but she was just planning to find an empty seat by her gate and scroll on her phone, reading pirated comics that she has to squint her face into, honestly. A lounge would be nice though. She had no idea that Korean Air played ball like that for all their guests. But then she manages to shuffle all the way to Korean Air's KAL lounge after asking around and frantically checking the maps on the wall. And she tiredly hands over her almost crumpled up from her clenching boarding pass to the lady at the front. She peers at the ticket, then openly gasps. The lady whips her head over her shoulder and calls out to another coworker who speed walks over in confusion. They speak in hushed whispers, but Zoe can make out snippets of the Korean conversation, something about her not being allowed into the lounge. Because, duh, why would she have access to a fancy lounge? She peers over their shoulders and looks at the fancy things inside with its warm glow and spaciousness. Yep, definitely too fancy for someone like her. Darn it, tired, bored TSA man who sent her on a wild goose chase. At least she got her steps in. Then both ladies cleared their throats as they look back up at her, and the first one says, "Miss Choi Zoe, you're not at this lounge." "I know, I'm sorry," Zoe apologizes with a wince. "The guy at security told me to go here, but I think he was just really tired." The second lady shakes her head. "Oh no, young lady. We were told to point you to the Cantus First lounge." Zoe blinks. Huh? She's pretty sure she saw it on the map, actually. All the way on the other side, where she has to walk with her cheap, super heavy backpack that's been killing her shoulders and back, and she feels a tap on her shoulder. She nearly jumps 4 feet in the air. A man in a standard uniform laughs. "I'm here to take you to your lounge, ma'am." "What?" she almost asks and as she looks behind him and spots those mini carts that she's been seeing driving around the airport and tinkling a small bell. Damn. And an hour ago, she was saying that she kind of wanted to try riding one. Is this a lucid dream? Feels like it. Should she try asking to drive it? Nah. But off they go, and Zoe pulls out her phone to thumb out super frantic texts to the first contact she finds, which is she knew because she couldn't trust Mira or Rumi to answer her questions about knowing how to go through ordinary airport security. Zoe's on me. Dude, they're taking me to another lounge. Help. Lounges are loungers. Why do I need to go to another one? Cry face. Oh, is that a gaming station I just passed? Should I tell him to turn around? I kind of want to go there instead of lounge. Who needs airport lounges anyway? Wait, what the fuck is that? Are rich people vampires? Why the fuck is it so dark inside that lounge? Her valet? Escort? What's the fancy word for people who whatever, the guy who helped her find the entrance of the second lounge gives her a friendly wave and earnestly says, have a good flight, Miss Choi Zoe, before leaving the premises on his fancy little cart, which is odd because she doesn't remember giving her name to him. She can still hear his friendly bell down the airport when she gives a weak smile to the lady near the door, who bows before she opens it wide for her. Which is even more odd considering she didn't ask for Zoe's ticket or name. She blinks a few times to adjust to the low ambient light of the lounge. It's quiet here, save for the gentle jazz playing on the speakers, and it smells so much like smoked wood and the most decadent perfume that she nearly lies down on the rug to rub her shoulder into it like a dog. If there's any place on earth that raises her hackles, it's right here. Because she doesn't belong here, she can feel it deep in her bones that she's somewhere she doesn't belong. It's the same feeling she gets when she accidentally walks into the men's bathroom at a concert venue or into the wrong classroom. Call it spidey sense or common sense, but either way, her body, mind, and spirit know not to stand here. But she presses on because people curiously for standing there and night. She presses her lips together and keeps her head low as she speed walks past the rows of coffee tables and expensive looking, actually, everything looks expensive here, chairs and rugs. This place looks more like a stereotypical five-star hotel lobby with its wood lines and fancy decorations than an airport waiting lounge. Also, someone just passed her with a towel and a change of clothes, a complaint on his lips to the person on the phone that he hopes that the shower facilities finally restocked with the right fucking body soaps. What? Zoe begins to panic when she realizes that she has no idea where to go. There's so many seats that she's overwhelmed with the decision paralysis between the chair facing the window outside, the leather waffle looking seats, the red fluffy sofas, or oh, holy shit, are those gummy worms? Before she can think about the social repercussions of running over to the snack bar full of candies in front of a dozen rich people, Zoe races over and crouches to check the jars. She is in awe that some place like this would stock up on gummies and chocolates, but she understands why as soon as she looks behind her to make sure that someone wasn't recording for a poor girl fail compilation video and snags a few with the silver tongs. They're soft and scrumptious to the max. There's a part of her that's tempted to stuff the jar into her backpack. A rich people's lounge wouldn't care if she took some, right? Actually, these are free, right? And this isn't a test or experiment that a poor person like her would snatch up some food at any given chance. Zoe swallows back the urge and keeps walking around the perimeter to find something else to do. If she sits down now, she'll be doomed to be fixated in her seat for the next few hours with her Switch in her lap, and she needs to make sure she gets her steps in today before she's left on a cramped plane for the next 12 hours? 13? Something like that? She pulls out her phone and spam texts Ginu. Dude, this fucking lounge? I'm scared. You know how you have to overfeed a goose before you kill it for foie gras or something? I feel like that. Do you feel me? There's a bunch of wine just sitting here? Like, there's just glasses next to it and everything? Crazy. Mama! For your pride? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Huh? Zoe, easy on me. I'm scared. There's ah! For your pride. The Grinch. Zoe, easy on me. Buffet! Buffet! Stop! There's a buffet! Wait, no! Restaurant, but that's still crazy. For your pride. At the airport? Zoe, easy on me. The lounge! Actually, I'm kind of hungry. Do you think they'll notice if I snatch some food? For your pride. It's free, isn't it? Zoe, easy on me. LMAO, bro. It's Cali. What the fuck is free? For your pride. No, I'm serious. I'm 99.7% sure it's free. I'm too hungry to argue. I'm gonna line up. If they charge me $500, you're gay. What? Zoe laughs at his last message. The line isn't that long, with a half dozen people ahead of her, but she's so hungry that it feels like she's been standing in this line forever. Am I kind of disappointed that the wine thing isn't like a Rumira flashback, a Rumira like foreshadowing image, like sign thingy? I'm kind of disappointed, but also this is funny as hell. So I'm like, I forgive. Qantas. It's an Aussie airline. Qantas. Interesting. Just wait, Artie. It'll come. Oh god. Fucking rich people bullshit. Also, I'm starting to shake, so I'll definitely have to end stream in a sec. Zoe laughs at his last message, blah, blah, blah. Okay. She could text her girls, but there's a part of her that thinks they won't understand, or arguably worse, that they're going to find that she's going to them, which would ruin the whole surprise aspect of her trip, which would suck because she's been holding this in for like a week, which would be like if she had been holding in a fart during a piano recital and let it rip during the last song. So she doesn't text them because she really, really does surprised that she's been holding in for so long with so much excitement. The back of her head whispers, or because you're scared, exactly how they'll feel if she tells them over the phone and she watches their faces close up to rewind, play, pause, rewind again over and over until she realizes that they didn't want her there. Or that they do, and she's signing herself away with a red ink and a flourish at the end. She's read through the contract they've offered, happiness and so much of it, just not the fine print. It scares her, but there's that bigger part of her that whispers back, well, there's a reason that the poorer you are, the more you offer in a gamble. Zoe swallows back the glass lodged in her throat. She opens Rumi's messages only because Rumi had messaged her more recently than Mira had. She taps the side of her phone, thin-lipped. There's a small suspicion forming in her head that maybe they were behind this. I wonder. Who else would know to bring her to a different lounge for their yummy-looking food? It only makes sense. I mean, if not Rumi, I feel like Mira. Because Mira was like, have you eaten? So I'm guessing it's Mira right now. The line shuffles forward by a few inches, and Zoe types out a message at lightning speed before she can change her mind. Zoe's on me. I just woke up, but I had a dream. We were all living together, and our next door neighbor was Ariana Grande, but she was getting married, and there were constant paparazzi 24/7, and we couldn't sleep from the flashes. But then one night, Mira got fed up and took a bright ass forced flashlight and went outside and started clicking it on and off and said, I'm flashing you. I'm flashing you. How does it feel? And then we got on the news, and Ariana uninvited us to her wedding. Wait, sorry, ignore that from above, lol. Lol. That was supposed to send this morning, but my Wi-Fi sucked at home. Bubby, do you have a Fav airport lounge? Her response comes in 12 seconds flat. Zoe hides her grin. Ruru Bear 942, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry Ariana did that to you, baby. Frowny face. Also, I don't think so. I don't really use airport lounges. That's okay. It just popped into my head. I fly private usually. Airport lounges look too public sometimes. Zoe looks up from her phone and closes her eyes to meditate. Her phone buzzes again, and Zoe prays that it isn't another thing that she's going to pray about tonight and looks down. Why do you ask? Do you want to go to one? I can come with you if you want. Her shoulders slump in relief. Rumi can't lie to save her life, at least not with the people she's closest to. To people on the street or in movies? Oh, she can do that flawlessly. But there's something hardwired in Rumi that makes it impossible for her to lie to people that she actually cares about. She may try to, but Mira and Zoe can always sniff it out in the end, even through texts. There's just a way that Rumi types that lets Zoe know whether or not it comes from the heart, and she's happy to report that Rumi wasn't the one to send her here or with a random new ticket. If Rumi wasn't the one to get it for her, then it wouldn't be Mira either. Zoe, easy on me. No, that's okay. I was just curious. How's your day so far? Brewer Bear. Exhausting. On my way back to the studio for some emergency fittings. But I miss you, and your scent is starting to fade from the hoodie you gave me. So I extra miss you. I wish you were here. Frowny face. Me too, Bubba. Frown. I'll be there before you know it, with a new hoodie and everything. Ha, maybe sooner than Rumi thinks too. She's proud of herself for that one. Can we call, please? If you're not busy? I just miss your voice. Uh, Zoe looks around her with all the fancy lights and the distant airport intercom announcing arrivals and departures and blah blah. Definitely not that. I'm sorry, I'm going to bed soon. Really? It's pretty early for you, isn't it? I pulled an all nighter last night, so I'm super pooped. But tomorrow, promise, I'll call you ASAP. Sounds good. I hope you sleep well and have dreams as sweet as you. Nuh-uh. I think they'd be as sweet as you, silly goose. Who knew she'd grow up to be this cheesy with the pop star she read fanfics about? Like, goddamn, of course she'd sleep well. Not as sweet as you taste. Oh, thank fuck for privacy screen protectors. Still, she glances behind her to make sure that there wasn't some nosy old man looking at her phone, and she hunches over to text some more as the line surges a few more steps ahead. You freak! You made me this way. Aw, she did. That she did. A monster of her own making, if she's being honest. But hey, hashtag monster fucking, right? Right? Okay, I'll let you rest now. Thank you for texting me, love. Okay, sorry, I'm normal. I'm sure, baby. Yeah. Okay, wait, I can't tease. I'm gonna slip now. I love you. Gotta go. Have a good day. Rumi sends a string of laughing emojis, and Zoe pockets her phone in time to flash a big smile at the person in a crisp suit walking up to her. I don't know if the day will ever come when we hear the voice actors do the text lines, but I'm curious how they would do these text lines. Like, ah! Okay. Hi, she says, beaming. Sorry, am I allowed to look at the menu before I sit down? He gives her a short, odd glance. Is there any problem, ma'am? Oh, did I read the Rumi sends a string of laughing emojis and Zoe pockets her phone in time to flash a big smile at the person in a crisp suit walking up to her. Is there any problem, ma'am? Not at all, she says quickly. Just forgot my cards at home and I only brought some loose cash, so first half is a lie. Second's pretty true, though. He peers at her again, seemingly unconcerned. Name? Oh god, is she gonna be kicked out because she wasn't on the super elite rich person list? She gulps down the fears and squeaks out her name. He taps around on his tablet for a long moment. His face illuminates with a sudden white screen, and he goes back up at her in surprise. Then all he says is, "Please, ma'am, follow me. Your meal has already been prepaid." "Oh, sick!" she blurts out, then clears her throat. Damn, what lottery did she enter in her sleep? I mean, cool! Like, everything? Or the man just escorts her to a table and hands her a menu. The easiest way to break the spell of decision paralysis is just getting most of everything. She ends up carrying back plates full of seared salmon. Nice. Santa Rosa plum cake. What? Skull Island tiger prawns. What? And an Aussie classic drink. What? To top it all off. Does she know what most of them mean? No, not really, but they were the first things that her eyes jumped to when she found them on the menu. She spends the rest of her time either walking around or and marveling at the stuff around her or playing on her Switch in odd positions on the chairs. She can tell that they're the nice kinds of chairs because she doesn't feel her back or neck strain no matter how contorted she is. An hour and a half before her flight, Zoe saves her game, raids the gummy jars to take what she can stuff into the small pockets of her bag, and runs away before anyone can pin the crime on her. The same chauffeur is there waiting for her, smiling politely and tipping his hat. She almost sighs in exasperation. There's a big chance that she's going to wake up from this really weird dream anyway. But for now, she's taken all the way to her gate, no shoulder pain from her backpack necessary, and they direct her towards the right side of the gate for boarding, with no one else waiting, which is why. Zoe sees the word priority on a sign next to her before they scan her passport and ticket. Maybe they're giving her priority because she accidentally made some sort of make a wish after being in a car crash. Perks of car crashes, she supposes. Too bad she didn't get to use it for her college essay. She makes it all the way through and smiles at the flight attendants waving at the tall people in front of her. Exhaustion is already seeping into her bones. No energy drinks at the lounge, unfortunately, and she's not a big coffee drinker. And she starts to make a beeline down the aircraft with the engine and wind against the jetway whistling in her ears. But then she blinks as she looks down at her ticket. 1A. She's staring at 23B to her right. Slightly embarrassed, but thankful that there isn't anyone behind her to know her sins, Zoe starts to trace back her footsteps. That's so real. That's so real. She makes it all the way to the front of economy, the one with the nice legroom. That's still not enough. Then she makes it to business, where she and the girls had sat on a flight to New York, which they chose to appease her and her dislike of private jets for 3 hour hauls. This is the fanciest place on the airplane, but she still can't find. Would you like some help finding your seat? A flight attendant asks kindly. Zoe swallows her pride and nods. She shows her ticket, and the flight attendant traces a perfectly manicured finger over the numbers. Ah, you're 1 alpha, she says politely, and Zoe presses her lips together to keep from making a joke that probably wouldn't land. Oh yeah, I'm the alpha, babe. Get it? Because they're about to take. Oh. Then the flight attendant extends. Then the flight attendant extends a hand in front of her and offers, "Please follow me. I'll show you where you'll be sitting during your journey." I am literally as mature as a 5-year-old. I literally have 5-year-old humor. It's so bad. They walk past 3, 4, 5 different rows of business class seats, which already seem so much fancier than the ones they took to New York, because she's pretty sure they're long enough to lie down in, and past a slightly wider corridor. Then she pulls back a small curtain and reveals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections with individual walls and seats, and "You'll be staying right here, first class," the flight attendant says proudly, opening a door to reveal the nicest fucking seat that her ass would probably ever touch on a flight. "You might enjoy knowing that your particular seat is so far forward that you are technically sitting in front of the pilot. You'll be landing in Korea before any of us." They have a good laugh about that, even though Zoe has to force hers out due to the sheer confusion that she's feeling right now. She blinks at the seat, cabin, room. This is not a seat. This is a place someone can live in. Because what the fuck do you mean? Wait, is business class different from first class? Since when did. The flight attendant tilts her head at her, and Zoe clears her throat and scrambles to sit down. as casually as she can, of course. Oh! The flight attendant cries, and Zoe braces herself for the inevitable. I'm so sorry, inevitable. I'm so sorry you're in the wrong seat. The poor people sit farther down. Instead, she pulls open the wall, and out pops a small closet. Your personal things can slide in here. Oh, right. Zoe babbles. She shoves her backpack in there and gives the flight attendant a wobbly smile. Then she leaves, and Zoe is left there, sitting in a giant leather seat with a big TV in front of her face and so much legroom that she could extend her legs all the way out and it still wouldn't touch the bottom of the TV. Zoe slaps her thighs a few times with her palms to an imaginary beat, back straight and peeking her head out once in a while to check if a security guard or flight attendant is going to come marching down over to her to tell her that she's in the wrong seat. She checks her ticket a couple of times too, staring at the 1A on her boarding pass and then staring at the 1A above her head over and over. Eventually, when she hears more people beginning to pour into the airplane, Zoe checks outside one last time and then closes the door. Yes, door, what in the to her seat. To calm her nerves, Zoe vivisects the rest of her surroundings. There's a shit ton of space next to her, a lamp next to her seat, and some jammies right under the TV on a little platform. There's a baggie full of amenities here, too, which she's familiar with. She has faint memories of being on the flight that took her to Burbank when she was 7, and the little thin slippers and plastic toothbrush that were shoved in front of her seat. What the fuck is all of this? Zoe pulls out branded item after branded item from the little storage compartment to her right. It's like Mary Poppins' bag. If Mary Poppins were rich and a flight attendant, there's a shit ton of skincare that she knows is high end because Mira has modeled for them before. A shitload of lotions, a monogrammed sleep mask, hefty noise canceling headphones instead of the thin ones, and sorry, is that Graf lip balm and perfume? There's more, but Zoe's too busy gawking at the heavy perfume bottle in her hand and the heavy weight that she feels with everything she pulls too. What rich person needs all of this for free, bro? She can't stop playing with the controls on the seat. She can't stop playing with the controls on the side either. She nearly jumps out of her skin when she presses a button and her seat starts reclining, but she presses it again and it keeps reclining. Morbidly curious, Zoe holds the button all the way down and her seat turns into a mini mattress. What in tarnation? She hears footsteps coming towards her, so Zoe spams the button to make her upright again. There's a knock on her door right as she sits up, and Zoe clears her throat and opens it with as much Mira energy as she can muster. Yes? She asks boredly, but it comes out like a squeak. Damn it. It's another flight attendant. He's holding up a champagne bottle and a flute. Champagne before takeoff, ma'am? He asks. Is all she can muster. She glances up at the 1A above her head one last time to make sure she isn't hallucinating it, and then answers again. Sure. I mean, yes, thank you. What brand do you Not the fanciest kind, I'm afraid, he says with a wince. He sets the flute down on the narrow table next to her and pours her a glass. Just Cru Grand Cuvée, if that's all right. She doubts she can pronounce that, so she's 99% sure that it's out of her tax bracket. How much do I have to pay for? She begins. He laughs and shakes his head. I think I'll enjoy serving you today, ma'am. You're a witty one, he teases, corking his bottle. My name is Hyunsuk. I'll be serving you throughout your flight and helping you with whatever you need. Zoe lets out a short, slightly scared chuckle. Sorry, do you mean serving me soda and biscuits? Just me, like what a flight attendant usually does? Hyunsuk barks out another laugh. Are you buttering me up for more champagne? Because it's working. He steps out of her seat, room, and flashes her one last smile. Please, don't hesitate to press the button whenever you need me. There's a menu right here if you'd like more time to think about your options for dinner and breakfast. She has no idea how to respond to that. He leaves before he has a chance to respond anyway, and Zoe stares at the menu that she missed next to the TV. She only gives it a glance before giving up, stowing it away. She saw caviar as a starter and a cheese tray for a snack and had to take it out of her sight for her own good. Takeoff is at least something she's familiar with. Her new headphones blast old second generation K pop songs in her ears while she stares out the window, watching as the giant plane rushes down the runway and takes them so high up that her stomach tickles. Maybe she's a masochist, but she's always enjoyed takeoffs for that drop in the body. Girl, me too. I love takeoffs. I love takeoffs so bad. We're so like each other. The seatbelt lights turn off. The seatbelt lights turns Oh my god. The seatbelt light turns off and the familiar ding of the plane has her dropping her shoulders so fast that the air comes out of her like a sigh. No one's coming to pull her out of her seat yet, either. Zoe passes the time by putting on a random action movie. She opens her door and pokes her head out to make sure, for the last time, swear to God, that there isn't some rich dude ranting to the poor flight attendants there that there was a dirty beggar girl sitting in his seat. There isn't, thank fuck. Just two flight attendants putting on a mattress on someone's first class seat down the aisle? She pulls out a camera from her backpack to vlog the rest of her experience. See, she was gonna vlog herself at the airport just for funsies and memories, but the entire lounge, chauffeur, giant restaurant thing threw her off and she had to recalibrate her old sea legs. On the side, she makes sure to update Chinu because apparently there's a high-speed Wi-Fi up here and like hell she's going to waste it. So easy on me. Dude, they just pulled out a tray table next to me that I didn't know I had and then put a white cloth on top. Like, in Lady and the Tramp, when they served me a shit ton of food, why did they mix the bibimbap for me? I can do that. Wait, this wine tastes really good. Oh no. Help. Soon, help. Am I turning bougie? Never mind, the filet mignon was tasteless. I had to top it with Cheeto dust that I ordered separately to save it. I went to the bathroom and everyone were in jammies, so I left out and left to change too. Tell me why I come back to my seat transformed into a mattress. Also, these jammies are so comfy. Do you think they'll notice if I take them? Joke to my flight attendant that I could really go for some ramyun right now. Bro comes back with it in a porcelain bowl? Okay, wait, this tastes really good. Damn, I passed the hell out of they gave me a pallet of nuts for a midnight snack. Lol. Whoa, why did they just give me breakfast? Are they watching me? My face smells like my papa's name and Bill Gates or like Goombam, I guess. Because I fit right in with the flight attendants. Update, more food. I don't know what I'm eating, but every time I take a bite, I see minus $300 over my head. Jinu doesn't respond to her string of texts for a while. She's not too worried. That happens a lot. But he always makes sure to come back and reply to everything when he's finally off from his crazy 16-hour dance practices and work in the studio. I just got a notification. I thought I had rescheduled my next live. I'm sorry. Let me fix this. Oh, the chat is going. Sorry. Hi, Riff. Hi. Can't tell if the filet mignon is a callback to the filet mignon and lobster and Mira sent her once. Filet mignon and lobster thermidor. Also, the reason why I'm reading it like that is because it's written like that, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess I read it like that. And let me fix my webcam. My God, the freaking webcam troubles is so real. Hi, Weef. Or just rich people being rich. And honestly, either is a possibility. Bruh, the fuck? No, that's not what I meant. No, girl. No, delete. I'm gonna have to I needed to reschedule tomorrow's live because I just learned that I'm scheduled for a shift tomorrow, unlike these rich bitches. Okay, anyway, we're back. Chinu doesn't respond to her string of texts for a while. She's not too worried. That happens a lot, but he always makes sure to come back and reply to everything when he's finally off from his crazy 16-hour dance practices and work in the studio. Her phone pings just as she's served another glass of wine. It looks like wine. She didn't look at the bottle because she was too busy ogling all the toast they put in front of her. She scrolls through her phone with the knuckle of her forefinger while she eats with her other hand. Chinu's emoji reacting to most of her messages, responding to a few with short reactions and ha-ha-has and a few memes here and there that he probably stole from her, the fucker. But at the very bottom is a peculiar comment that makes her instantly suspicious. For your pride, just wait till you try Emirates. Zoe's on me. Hello, you two? Your sister surrogate stole a flight from some rich dude, and your reaction is try this other place? As if I'm not reliving the movie Parasite in the air? Dude, you're fine. Trust me. How are you liking it? The stuff on the table? Pause. Did you buy me this ticket? Can you be honest with yourself for 5 seconds? Sorry, yeah, you're right. Slept so good that I forgot your card declined when you tried buying repo. Gina was like, but no, it wasn't me. Before you ask, no, not Rumi or Mira either. Guys, it's Celine. It's fucking Celine. It's fucking Celine. It's fucking Celine. I'm calling it. It's fucking Celine. But no, it wasn't me. Before you ask, no, not Rumi or Mira either. But I know who did it. And before you spam me again, yes, I'll tell you later. I have to run though. Have fun on your flight. Get used to it. Well, that's a mildly terrifying smiley face if she's ever seen one. Wait, is that why Rumi always puts a nose in hers? To seem more friendly? Because what a loser sap dork if it is. Very lovingly. I think I'll pause here for tonight. Close but no dice. I don't believe you guys until I mean, I'm guessing it's either like I'm guessing Celine or like or maybe Bobby. Maybe Bobby. Maybe Bobby. Oh my god, yes, it's Bobby. I'm stupid. Bobby, of course it's Bobby because Bobby was telling the recording people like, "Oh, don't come tomorrow." And Rumi was like, "What the fuck?" Rumi was like, "Hey, so I don't know what that means. It's Bobby. It's Bobby." Before Chino's comment, I was guessing between Selena or Mira's parents. Oh, no way Mira's parents would do this. It's Bobby. And you guys are silent, so I know that I'm correct. Okay, I'm gonna end it there and go and eat. Because I'm starting to shake. And I'll do my next live tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST because I had to move it forward. And I changed it in the YouTube, but I need to like reschedule it in my TikTok, whatever. Celine's too busy to deal with. Well, to be fair, I half thought they were gonna kidnap her. LMAV. Okay, that's where I'm ending you all. And YouTube people, thank you for being here. There's like a couple of YouTube people. Thanks, y'all. I'll end right here and see you tomorrow.